journey like no other.
Right through some dude's mom's nasty vagina.
And out her asshole.
It's Indy 180, a transformative show unlike any other. Joe, put that away.
I can't help it.
Indy 180 with Bob on the knob,
Joe Stagger,
and don't forget Brian Almeida from The Shape.
This is Brian from The Shape.
You know my name.
Indy 180.
You know my face.
180 minutes of independent music and news, plus the Monolithic Music Minute and Knobs News Corner, brought to you in part by Blow Paste.
Another blissful moment go to waste. Taste the magic of Blow Paste.
Indy 180. It starts now. The clock is ticking.
Ah, shit, yo! Yeah, what's up? It's Tuesday fucking night. It's the 13th of January. It's 8 o'clock. It's actually past 8 o'clock. It's 8:05. We're late. I'm here. I've got Mr. Almeida himself, Brian from The Shape, on the Skype line. What's up, my friend?
What is going on, dude? How are you?
I am here.
I'm here as well. I should be there.
That's all right.
Third time will be the charm.
Cybola.
Ebola, indeed.
At least it's not Opus.
We'll have Opus next week.
Yes, we will have Opus next week.
I'm excited.
You guys want to tune in for that, of course. I love busting Opus's balls. Love that guy. One of the hardest working dudes. And I'm really excited to have him on our show because, you know, since we do cover like helping independent bands and how to, you know, scale this wacky traverse of industry, he is a great person to talk to when it comes to that stuff because that dude is, you know, stupid knowledgeable when it comes to bands and doing it as a business and all that fun shit.
He is indeed, man. And he's just a good dude in general.
Oh, yeah, and he's a good dude in general. And, I mean,
Motherfucker.
you know, G-Soul. I mean, come on. Fucking G-Soul, man. If you're from Connecticut, you don't know who G-Soul is.
That was my jams back in high school.
Shit. And, of course, shout-outs to Chris Keys. It was his birthday not too long ago. It's Opus's birthday coming up at the end of the month. Everybody should go fucking to Toads. Holy shit. That show...
Josta is the secret headline.
Dude, that show is going to be fucking insanity, bro. You got Cyperna, you got Apostasy, you got fucking, like, all these great bands. Lightsbane, fucking, which is kind of a disappointment. You got Alcoholica, you got Josta, End Time Illusion, you got fucking DB Dubs. It's their decade, 10-year anniversary. Alcoholica. It's going to be fucking nuts. No Dick McPlenty this year because he's injured. He's sidelined.
He is.
So I guess somebody's going to be filling in for him. It's going to be nuts. You're not going to want to miss it. I mean, you can get tickets for free from anybody. You can print them online from any of the bands that are playing. There's an event page. It's going to be kind of a big show. So.
And you have no fucking excuse if you do not go.
I'm going to be there. OFNR is going to be there. I mean, we're not going to be covering it like we usually do each year. You know, last couple years we've been broadcasting live from Toads. This year I'm just going as a spectator. I'm going to have a good time. That's my plan of action. Gonna go. Maybe I'll grab a couple friends, some folks from the OFNR camp, and head on down to New Haven and fucking rock out.
Caravan it up. We'll caravan it up
with my cock out. All right, It is the 13th of January. Tonight we have a brand new band. And I mean brand fucking new. They're brand new to OFNR. They're probably going to be brand new to you. Name of the band is Marwood's Fall. Now, I didn't know anything about this band at all. Still don't really know a whole hell of a lot about the band. But I did some Google research and I found out who the fuck Marwood is. And why they may have named their band Marwood's Fall. We're going to talk about it with David from Marwood's Fall at the 9 o'clock hour, right around that time. He's going to call in. We're going to talk to him. They're from Illinois. So we can talk about Chicago. We'll talk about the music scene out there. It's going to be fucking cool. Definitely going to be a good fucking evening. No Joe Stagger tonight. Want to shout out and quick shout out to Joe. He's going through some shit. And, we fucking love Stagger, man. Those are brothers from others' mothers. Joe especially, man. That dude is like one of my closest, dearest friends, even though I don't get to see him very often. I fucking love that dude, man. And we've been kind of lax on the fucking Photoshop wars. We are going to get back into it. Don't worry. I know some folks have been like, yo, what's up, man? You guys haven't done one in like a month. We'll get back to it. It's not going anywhere. We're stockpiling. This is what's happening.
Stockpile that ammo.
Shit.
Sometimes you need to let it sit back so you can get a few more things to load into the cannon.
Yeah, and sometimes it's nice to take a little fresher out of from doing it, because like for a while there we were doing it for every week, and like each of us is doing like 6 to 12 pictures a week. It gets crazy, I mean, sometimes
it gets brutal.
Sometimes it's really hard to find fucking pictures, because you got to look for them. You can't just.
It's got to be the right one.
Got to be the right one, and of course, we include members of Stagger, members of Cyperna, members of Apostasy, mostly Mouse from Apostasy, just because Mouse, Major Chugs, a OFNR alumnus, part of the Chaos crew. I love busting that kid's balls. I haven't seen him in a while, so I can't wait to see them at Opus's birthday Blizzard Bash-a-Palooza on the 31st. Lots of shit to go through tonight, man. But one of the things that you had mentioned, and I totally had forgotten about it, so we're just gonna jump right into it, and then we'll run through some of the other stuff that we've got going on. A few weeks ago, Kanye West and Paul McCartney did some sort of like collab for some fucked up reason. I don't really understand why. Still kind of trying to figure that shit out. But there was like a hoopla. A lot of Kanye West fans don't know who the fuck Paul McCartney is. This shit is crazy.
Yeah, no, this was something, I don't know how we missed this last week. Just reading some of the tweets from people.
Well, you know what it was, dude, we got shot right out of the cannon last week. First show back in the new year, first show back after a month hiatus. I was on fire. You guys were on fire. We had an awesome conversation with Kevin King. If you missed that show, it's up on our YouTube channel. Go check it out. We got 70,000 plus views on our total YouTube channel, so keep watching stuff. There's all kinds of videos, not just our playlist from shows, but I mean, there's live Suffocation up there. There's live performances from local bands up there. All kinds of live fucking bands, man. I mean, Continuum, Cyperna, you name it. I mean, dude, there's even Bitch Tits. I don't know if you've ever seen Bitch Tits, but back in the day, Joe Morbidelli fucking used to have a cover band. They did Danzig songs, but they turned every fucking lyric into food. So, like, instead of mother, it was butter. And there's a great video from Cafe 9 of them doing butter. And they're all dressed up like the Misfits. I mean, big bellies. And, oh, it's fucking hysterical. So go check that out on YouTube. It's, YouTube, official F and Radio. Or you can go to OFNRforever.com and click on the YouTube link in the menu. You can also chat with us, although I hardly ever check the chat because I'm so busy with like 1,000 other tabs open over here. I got brand new music, dude, from Tear Gas Union.
Awesome.
They sent me their brand new album. I've loaded it in. I have not listened to it yet. They sent it to me. I just have not had an opportunity. Currently working on the Eyes of the Dead review. God damn it, that record is good, dude. Holy shit. It is really fucking good. Before we go into the Kanye West story with more detail, just really quick funny story. I actually met Eyes of the Dead in 2009 in New York. That was the first time I ever met them, was in the city at the Delancey. Went to go see another band, Odd Zero, one of our dear close friends from the city, no longer a band now, but those guys were like 2 times Artists of the Month, Artists of the Year for 2009. Great fucking guys, great band. First band to really vouch for OFNR in the city. And we're in the Delancey, and we're hanging out with Frank Wood, and everybody should go check out Frankie Wood. He knows everybody in the fucking city. We were talking about that last week with Kevin King. And the very last band introduced as a New Haven band, so my ears perk up, and it's just this thrashy, fucking heavy, brutal shit. And so, you know, we go up to him at the end of the show, and we're like, hey, dude, you're from Connecticut? We're from Connecticut. It's weird. And sure enough, it wound up being Eyes of the Fucking Dead. So it's like so weird that, you know, 2009 is when I met them, and it was in the city. Seeing as we're all from Connecticut, it's just strange that I hadn't heard of them or seen them prior to that. It's fucking weird.
Serendipity indeed.
Serendipitous. That is the first Eyes of the Dead, first band, full band, that was ever inducted into the Chaos Army. Every member of Eyes of the Dead has a Chaos shirt. We're not doing the Chaos Army thing anymore because Chaos is really more a one time, once in a while, whenever some dude gets froggy, wants to get on the air and spout hatred. You know, our last show, of course, was the Christmas special. If you missed it, you missed it. It was brutal, man. Fucking brutal. I gotta say, I actually should send you over the audio of just the Christmas part, the special that we did. We covered the original Christmas story, the birth of Jesus Christ, and whenever Chaos does a Christmas story and redoes it, you know, in the way that we think it should be done, it's never good. It's really fucking wrong. Chobe from Continuum said it was probably one of the most foul, offensive, disgusting things that he's ever heard, and he laughed his ass off. So
that sounds right up my alley. Please send that.
Oh, dude, it's fucking, it's so bad. Anyway, so back to Kanye West and fucking Paul McCartney. I'm just beside myself. I really, truly do not understand, truly, how in the fuck anyone could not know who the fuck Paul McCartney is. Like, you know, I mean, I kind of sort of get it. The Beatles were like in the 60s and 70s. But, I mean, you know, we've all heard a fucking Beatles song. Over the years.
If you own a radio, it's inescapable. If you own a television, it's inescapable. You go to the mall, you go to a place like FYE, and they have like blankets and not comforters, but those like those thin furry blankets. They have a Beatles mugs everywhere with his face all fucking over them. You know, a lot of stuff in his own, you know, solo career. Like, I don't get it either, man.
Yeah, it's fucking weird,
it's
man.
ridiculous. And some of these fucking tweets from people are so great. Who is this Paul McCartney? He about to blow up thanks to Kanye. Says,
yeah, yo, he about to blow up, dog.
Yeah.
Kanye gonna make him a superstar.
Who the fuck is Paul McCartney? This is why I love Kanye, for shining light on such unknown artists.
Good God. It's so sad, dude. It's so fucking sad, man.
It's to me like the Beatles themselves are like my first guitar of, you know, bands, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you know, and you gotta wonder, like, these folks who tweeted, there's this wonderful thing. I know, I'm the techie, I'm the nerd. There's this wonderful thing called Google.
Yep.
And I guarantee you, had any one of these fucking ass clowns done a simple Google search of Paul McCartney, they would realize that they are fucking stupid fucks. And, like, you gotta wonder now, after the fact, do they feel like stupid fucks? Like, do they feel like they fucked up? Like, man, I'm an idiot.
I love some of these that say the song is with a guy named Paul McCarthy. That's just great.
This dude is a knight. he's
Mr. West and Sir McCarthy.
Yeah, he's like, he's been knighted by the Queen of England. Like, you know.
They're the biggest selling band of all time, even if you don't like them. You probably should have heard of them and know who the fuck this guy is.
I'm sure you might have heard Strawberry Fields once or twice. You know what I'm saying? I mean.
Do you have parents? Have you met adults?
Well, like OFNR, you know, because I'm constantly on the Facebooks. I mean, I practically live on the fucking thing. I had posted my friend Turbo from Bull Spike Radio. You can check him out tomorrow, 1 o'clock. He does the Asylum, and we syndicate it here on OFNR. But yeah, Turbo's a good motherfucker. He had posted a meme. It's Paul McCartney and Kanye West, and it's like Kanye West on the left and Paul McCartney on the right, and it says, if you know Kanye but you don't know Paul McCartney, I kind of want to smack your parents. And I posted it, and my mom's actually like a fan of OFNR, which is kind of strange. But she like immediately likes it and laughs. Like, you know, it's like, it's true. I kind of want to just bitch smack your parents a little bit for not introducing you to like yeah, cultured music, man. I mean, these, I'm not a huge Beatles fan by any stretch of the imagination. I have all their records only because I work at a fucking radio station, and we used to have a classic rock, like thing. Wednesdays used to be way back Wednesdays, like classic rock all day. I stopped doing that because there was crap was just, went that way, and I was, well, fuck it, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, whether you like it or not, it's like it's genre, race, whatever, transcendent in terms of visibility. So you should know who the Beatles are in some fashion, whether you've seen the guy's face like on a mug or a record or whatever, or anything. That Wings, his own solo stuff, on TV, whatever, hearing.
You can't tell me you've never heard that song Blackbird. I mean, God damn it, that song, if you turn on 99.1 PLR here in Connecticut, I guarantee you at some point or another, a Wings song is going to come on. It's probably going to be Blackbird, but I guarantee it. I mean, any classic rock station is going to play at least one Beatles tune.
While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Yeah, dude, right?
Fuck. Strawberry Field.
Yeah, Strawberry, fucking right. I mean, dude,
Hey Jude. I don't.
Jesus Christ, like, dude, there's the whole White Album, for fuck's sake. The White Album.
Abbey Road. That image of Abbey Road is so fucking.
It's
all,
iconic.
It's been all over the place, and mocked or whatever you call it, like translated
parodied,
over.
Yeah, parodied. Absolutely. I mean,
Parodied.
even the Simpsons parodied the Simpsons did it. I mean, come on.
Yeah. One of the best responses I've seen is from somebody named Kimball Benny, and on the other side of it, and they're saying Kanye West did a song with Paul McCartney, and people on Twitter are asking who Paul McCartney is. Now I understand domestic terrorism.
Right? You just want to start fucking offing people. Speaking of offing people, really quickly, I wanted to talk about Chris Brown had a concert recently, like a couple days ago. And dude, there was like gunfire and shit. Like fucking six people
in the venue.
6 people were injured at the venue because like there was a fight and somebody pulled out a fucking 9 and started shooting up the place.
Was this in a coliseum?
No, it was like in a really small little fucking shithole bar.
Jesus, like, do people pad motherfuckers down for security?
It's kind of frightening, man. It's kind of frightening in a sense that like you gotta wonder. Like, and again, this might come off wrong because we're a metal rock station.
Yeah.
But I don't go to hip hop shows simply because of this. Like, I don't want to get shot, man. Like, fuck that
that's
noise.
Your first thought is that if you go to a hip hop show, you're gonna get fucking shot.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, look, Aaron, this fucking seems to happen pretty regularly to me, especially if it's Chris Brown. If it's Chris Brown, I ain't going nowhere near that fucking venue.
I would just assume that if I had brought my girlfriend, she would get punched in the face. I wouldn't think I was gonna get shot.
But dude, it's crazy, man. Even in New Haven, dude, Toads had a hip hop night, but this last month sometime. And during the hip hop night, people fucking shooting each other.
Wait, in New Haven?
Yeah, fucking New Haven, man. It just happened not that long ago. You can look it up online, check it out. It's fucking insane, man. I don't understand it. I just don't get it. Yo, we're trying to have a good fucking time, man. We want to go out to the club, hear some fucking jams.
That's all venue stuff, man, because you should be fucking patting people down. If they have a gun, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, there should seriously be some sort of security measures put into place. Something should be done.
I've been to Toads where people have frisked me for like booze or like weed.
Yeah.
But like not,
But like, I'm gonna go to Toads for Opus's big Blizzard birthday bash palooza, and like I'm not gonna worry. I'm not gonna worry somebody's gonna fucking off me. I mean, it is Pistol Wave in New Haven, but fuck, it's a metal show. I mean, come on. We don't fucking have that nonsense. The worst thing that's gonna happen is I might step into the pit and get fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that might happen. It's possible.
You might take a hit. You might, break something or like land awkwardly if you get knocked into while you're in the pit or like if you're around the pit. That's about it that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know what happens at metal shows. I've been around them enough. A couple years ago, it was like 2 years ago now, at my birthday show at Cherry Street. It was a bunch of bands, and the ender band was Everybody Hates Me. And I don't know if you've ever had a opportunity to hang out with Everybody Hates Me. They're fucking mean motherfuckers, they're just angry dudes. Chaz is an angry motherfucker. Well, they're going nuts. I mean, they're going fucking ballistic. And I'm fucking around with some dude, and it's not a huge show. There's not a whole lot of people, but I'm drunk as fuck. It's my birthday. I've got a designated driver. I'm fucking drunk as fuck. Me and some dude are fucking around. Dude, I broke my hand. Fucking broke my hand because me and some dude.
You broke your hand fucking around with some dude?
Yeah, well, some dude from OFNR. You know, me and some dude were fucking moshing around and like really going all at it, and he put a fucking chair in front of me, like one of those wooden stools from Cherry Street, and I kind of tripped over the chair into the bathroom, but like instead of going into the bathroom, like I hit the door jamb of the bathroom with my hand, and broke my pinky and like fractured like my hand in 3 places.
Damn.
And I was just like, I was so fucked up, man. But that's the kind of shit that I would expect, you know, and it's my own goddamn fault for being drunk and stupid. But I didn't get shot, you know?
Yeah. But that, again, I'm just going to say, man, that's why venues have bouncers and security, man. They're supposed to pad your ass down for knives. And if they're worried about chains, I mean, I'm pretty sure you should be checking motherfuckers for guns, especially at Toad's place.
No shit, man. It's wild. It's fucking wild. Anywho, some things that are coming up. Of course, next week we do have Opus, the dopest, from Dead by Wednesday. And I'm really looking forward to talking with him. I think it's going to be a really good time. On February we have an opening on the 27th. Did you ever get a confirmation from Mile Marker?
Yeah, I believe Mile Marker Zero is going to be our guest on January 27th.
Nice. So I will make the event and make the photo and all that fun shit. So there you go. January is all booked. February is almost all booked. I mean, we're fucking close. I've got February the 3rd. I've got Ian Carlucci, who is a younger individual. He's a kid. I mean, and he's got his own promotions type deal called Shadow Lake Music. He's in a band. We're going to talk to him about some shit. He's got bands that he works with that he brings here. Lord Almighty's coming back to Connecticut. And so Ian was like, hey, can we work something out that I can talk about that? And I said, fuck yeah, we can talk about that. So Ian's going to be on. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. And we got Steve Lewis on the 24th of February from Big Hit Records, and I've got some music from Steve Lewis. Maybe we'll get to that tonight.
Are we going to play some of that Tear Gas?
Yeah, we're definitely going to play some of that Tear Gas. I definitely got that shit on deck. So we do have 1 or 2 spots in February. I am within, like, pretty much going to happen probably the 20th, I think. Or whatever that, not the 24th.
17th?
Maybe it's the 17th. Maybe it's the 28th. I'm not sure. Whatever that day is. The Maddening Process.
Awesome.
They are on that other fucking radio station tonight, debuting music, and I saw that, and I was like, hey, your fucking guitarist goes out with my sister, for fuck's sake. Hey, what the fuck? You guys should definitely hook us up with like an interview and shit. We can talk, you know? And, of course, Bam was all about it, so we're just working out the details.
Those are some cool dudes, an awesome band.
Oh, yeah. Straight out of fucking Danbury area. I've known Bam for fucking years and years and years and years because I grew up in the Danbury area growing up, so I know all those cats, you know. It's definitely a kick-ass band. I've seen them tons of times live. You should check them out live, too. They got a brand new EP that they're debuting on the other station, but we'll be getting it here on OFNR, too, so don't worry. I mean, we try to stay on top of these things, but goddamn it, it is difficult because, you know, there's so many bands, and I really like bringing new bands like Marwood's Fall tonight. I'm really looking forward to that.
As well, man. We got a good slate coming up. Opus, Mile Marker Zero, Shadow Lake. It's going to be a good time. Maddening Process.
And that's just it. I mean, look, you know, if you're in a band, you know of a band, and you want us to talk to them, or you think they want to talk to us, if they're a booking agent, maybe they're a record company, maybe independent record label or something, let us know, man. I'm all about it. I really like to talk to all kinds of different people. Maybe you even know a porn star. Talk to a porn star. I'll talk to a porn. That'd be fun as hell.
That would be a great night.
It's official fucking new radio, so we can talk to whoever. So if you know somebody that, you know, maybe they have a product. I mean, we talked to Jasmine Ejan a while ago now, probably about a year ago now, on the Nation of Decimation, being the bagman. And Jasmine Ejan is the owner of Blow Paste, and we now have a fucking sponsor, Blow Paste. They bring us the news. You can check them out at cheekychacha.com. Get the taste of dick out of her mouth by giving her some fucking blow paste. It's a lube. It's a mouthwash. It's a toothpaste. You could use it for fucking chapped lips. I mean, let me tell you, she sent me over some. It was the greatest day of my life because I open it up and I say to my wife, we have to try this stuff out, right? Because I have to like talk about it on the air. I gotta like give my honest review. So I'm like, tonight, honey, tonight, please, tonight, come on.
I have to play the part of concerned consumer and make sure that this works.
Well, we've been talking about. We had Jasmine and John on the air. We talked to her and like, I gotta make sure this is legit stuff, and like give her my honest feedback. Let me tell you, man, that's got to be some of the best lube I've ever used. And my wife goes down on me. It's just like, this is beautiful. And I had to thank Jasmine. I like sent her a fucking whole thank you. Thank you so much. You got me a blowjob. Thank you. Like any company that gives guys blowjobs, from guys, from girls, whatever, those people should be fucking commended. And I commend goddamn blow paste. So get the taste of dick out of your mouth. And the funny thing about blow paste is it was a news story on the Knobs News Corner. And we laughed about it and we thought it was silly. And I said to Bagman, I was like, I'm gonna send an email to blow paste and see if we can get them on the line. Like, see if we can talk to them. Like, why not? What's the worst that's gonna happen? They're either gonna blow me off or they're gonna tell me to go fuck myself. And when a radio station calls you and says, hey, we kind of want to talk to you or whatever, normally you're not going to say, go fuck yourself, Mm-hmm. Got them on the air, and that was it. We let her know, like, we had been using blow paste as kind of our segue into the news, and she was all about it, and she gave us permission, and now they're a sponsor, So order some. I actually have to order myself some, too, because I'm all out. One of the first things I had to do, though, because, I'm constantly fucking with Major Chugs, Mouse, Rob, whatever you want to call him, from Apostasy, the drummer. Constantly fucking with that kid because he used to be here at OFNR. He used to do chaos with us. And I had always said, if I ever got blow paste, that I would give him some so that he could take the taste of dick out of his mouth. Well, when I got some, what do you think the very first thing I did, man? I fucking hunted him down. I was like, here's some fucking blow paste. Get the taste of dick out of your mouth finally, you cocksmoker.
Have you checked in to see if it's been used?
I haven't. But those who have used it have said stupendous things. They all love it. Say it's a great product. It really works really well. Kind of minty. Depends on what flavor you get now. She's got a bunch of different flavors. But you can check it out, cheekychacha.com. All right. So, of course, tonight we got the news. We've got Marwood Falls. Got David. And one thing that we, were talking about last week, something that, I really wanted OFNR to, we have this really awesome ability to have yourself and of course, Joe usually on the line. And we have this crazy ability to discuss the independent scene and independent bands and, what bands could do to, like, improve their reach and their business. And so I kind of wanted to discuss that today.
It's an excellent idea.
I wanted to discuss the idea of turning your band into an actual business. Because there are things that, you can do as a band and maybe should do and maybe shouldn't do. I mean, look, not everyone may want to go this route. Not everyone has gone this route. So I wanted to kind of talk about it. And I guess the first way to do that is to ask you. I mean, you not only are in the shape, but you also work at Monolithic Music and promote bands and record bands. And I mean, do you guys touch at all on the aspect of being a business as a band? I mean...
Yeah, absolutely. Everything we have listed kind of here in our run through is something that we've touched on and have firmed up, and it should be a lot of it. I mean, depending on what you're trying to do. If you just really want to go around and play some shows and just kind of have fun with it, do you necessarily need to go and pay, the expenses that you have to for, setting up your band as a business. No, but like something like a cover band, do you need to necessarily do that? Not really. But if you're a band like The Shape or like a Continuum or Eyes of the Dead or something like that, it's a good idea to do so. Because there's a lot of stuff that little bits here and there for one of income help, whether they're a little bit coming in from like a Spotify or iTunes and selling your stuff there. To even putting your stuff up on like setlist.fm, having your stuff played on the radio, royalties come in and out. So you should be affiliated with a performance rights organization like an ASCAP or a BMI. Your name and your logo, you should definitely trademark those if they're very specific and applicable to you.
Absolutely. So basically, let's run down this list here because we're touching on them. And I want to make sure we go through this kind of thoroughly. Should you treat your band as a business, and if so, when? Well, look, I think you covered that really nicely. If you're out just doing a cover band, if you're out just having a good time, if you're not looking to take music to that next level, if you're not looking to, go farther than just being we're going to play here and there kind of a thing, then probably not. But if you want to take it seriously, if you really want to make that next leap, maybe you want to have your tracks or a song in a movie. Maybe you want to have maybe you want to sell a track to a commercial. Maybe you want to have it played at an arena. Maybe you want to put it on fucking Spotify. All these things, a lot of bands may not know, you could do all those things. Sure, you could. It doesn't. I don't think does it cost anything to get on Spotify? I don't really know.
It can depending on how you handle it. For us, just out of just a little bit of behind the curtain on our end, we use a company called DistroKid through our record label Monolithic Music, and all the artists on our roster are in 100 countries on Spotify and iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Shazam, all of those, and a bunch more. But it's not that much of a cost to do it. I think through them, it's probably the cheapest. It's like $20 a year as a record label,
nice.
Or $60 a year actually as a record label to have 5 artists, and I think it's like 110 or 120 to have 10.
Nice.
It's kind of tiered up to an extent, but per band, it's really not that bad. And even if you did it on your own, I think you can get it done for between $20 and $30. Through them, there's also CD Baby,
sure.
that can help you out with that.
Yeah, there's tons. I mean, there's all kind, and especially now, it seems every day there's a new thing, and of course there's Bandcamp, and there's this and there's that. Now,
Bandcamp's fucking awesome because I think it's like the 5th or 10th record you sell is like their cut, but everything else is all yours, which is such a cool way to do it because you get all that cash, and they give you a tracking system of where your stuff is getting seen. So we can log in and we can say, oh, okay, well, this piece that was up here on this website drove a lot of people over to here, and this amount of people listen to the whole record, this amount of people listen to up to 90% of it. There's a lot of cool stuff that you should do as a band, and like Bandcamp, having Bandcamp in every media outlet that you can take advantage of if you really want to push your music and get it out there. The more the merrier, because they all have certain advantages. There's not one that I can really think of that charges like a shit ton of money where you don't really get a benefit or exposure out of it.
Right. All right. So, obviously the very first thing that I thought of when I was putting together this list, my legal brain kicked in immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And something even OFNR probably should have done many years ago, and probably still should do at this point, is set up an LLC. It's small business, limited liability company. Basically, puts your name out as on the books as a business. You're no longer John and Paul and Ringo and and Kanye. You're actually now a licensed company by the state, sometimes the federal government even. And it also really kind of just, it gives you the ability to, for us as for instance for OFNR, if for some fucked up reason we were to get sued, I wouldn't lose my house. I would be able to be covered through the business end of things. And I think that's a really vital thing. However, again, if you're just a kind of a kicking around ideas and you're not really into being an actual band, like, and I don't mean like you're not playing music, but I mean, there's a difference between being just a regular independent band and being a independent
and trying to really push it out there as hard as they can and invest money into it.
Exactly. And this is where, since last week we talked about, do we need record labels anymore and stuff like that. And I think we all kind of agreed the answer is no. At this point, they're not necessary. I mean, they help, but they're not necessary. If you're not going to go that route, then you need to go this route and set yourself up with a business and set yourself up with this LLC. Now, if you go down that road, then the very next thing my legal brain...
Can I pause you there real quick?
Yeah, sure, please do.
Yeah, and with setting yourself up as an LLC and as a business, though, you get a lot of benefits with that you might not even be thinking of. And, this is more so for guys that aren't familiar with what an LLC is or what the benefits are. You can write off a lot of things. You can write your gas off, to gigs. You can write your cell phone bill off. You can write, anything that goes into it, equipment, you can have written off and get some of that cash back at the end of the year as a business.
Yeah, so it's a fucking tax break too.
Yeah, and that's actually a really big part of it because it does cost a lot of money if you're trying to be, polished and really serious about stuff. A record can cost even our record was not very cheap, and sure. Gear isn't cheap either. Tube heads are expensive. Really good cabs and guitars are expensive. And does it help to get 500 to a couple thousand back at the end of the year? Yeah, that definitely helps because you can use that to fund merchandise, fund other gear upgrades, or like parts of your stage show, or even pay a yearly fee, for any kind of service that you use that benefits the band.
Right. And so, I mean, these are the things that some band, and I would say a good portion of bands don't have this sort of knowledge or mentality, and it's crazy because, like you're saying, I mean, there are tax benefits. Let's say you go out and buy a brand new fucking guitar. Well, that's a business expense, I mean, if you got to pay for parking at a venue, that's a business expense.
You cannot perform your job as a member of that band should you not have that instrument, and should you not be parked at that venue. You can't play the show from your car.
So, I mean, these are all things that you could think about, and should think about if you're really serious about taking your music to the next level. The very first thing you should probably think about doing is setting up an LLC for the band. Now, I was going to say the very next thing my legal brain goes into is contracts. And I would say probably anywhere from 80 to 90% of bands do not do this step. And I get it. However, it scares the living shit out of me. And the reason it does is because setting up a contract, I mean, like an actual formal fucking contract. Let's say, just as a for instance, Brian, you're in the Shape, and tomorrow you're not in the Shape. And I know, obviously, that's not going to happen. But let's just say it does. Well, what happens to those songs? Who owns those fucking tunes?
I know exactly what happens to those songs because we have formal contracts.
Exactly. Now you know exactly what's going to happen. You know who's going to get what. It's kind of like, much like making the LLC, doing this step is very much, you got to think of being in a band sort of like being in a marriage. You're married to the other members of the band. And we all know that... It's
kind of like a prenup.
We all know that 50% or more marriages, I think it's higher than that now, end up in divorce. And, when you go to get married, before you get married, everything is great. Everything is wonderful. Everyone loves each other. Everyone is getting along. Everything is beautiful. You're fucking like mad, However, when that fucking dirty D word comes up and it's time for a divorce, things get real fucking nasty. Real fucking fast.
And not the good kind of nasty, my brother.
No. And I mean, look, we all know. I mean, we've seen it. Not only like, we could look at celebrities even as a for instance. Because those guys have tons and tons of money. When they get divorced, assets have to be divided. And so gets this and such gets that. And if you don't have that shit in advance, when everybody's happy and loving each other and fucking, wanting to take care of each other, if fucking shit goes wrong, well, greed and anger and resentment and bad shit happens and people get fucking crazy. And if you don't believe me, all you got to do is take a day trip to your local probate court and see for yourself. You can go through the books. They're public access. You can go through them, and you don't have to have like a lawyer brain. You don't really have to. You could see the mess that happens when people start fucking around and getting divorced and this, that, and the other thing. Well, the same thing is true in a band. Now, perfect example. Eyes of the Dead, good dear friends of OFNR's, great dudes, whatever. They are in a band, and they've written quite a song. Well, they had written a song, and I can't remember the fucking title for the life of me now, with a member that is no longer in the band. Well, OFNR, as OFNR is known to do, made a music video for said song. And at the time that we were making the music video, the dude was still in the band. Well, he left the band. Music video is now done, completed, and up on YouTube. I got a fucking copyright violation from this dude saying, hey, I'm on this track, and I don't want it published. Well, it was immediately taken down, not because I wanted to, but because YouTube's pretty strict about that shit. If the copyright owner says no, then no. It's just that simple. Well, had Eyes of the Dead put together some sort of formalized contract in writing as to what happens if a member leaves, that may have been avoided. But they didn't. And it is what it is. I mean, I'm not knocking Eyes of the Dead.
I can give you something from the other end of the spectrum, my man, on how it protects you.
Yes, please do, please.
Our first record prior to Mask of the Red Death was called The Last Great Awakening. 2 of the members of the band are no longer in the band, but they're still pretty good friends of ours. Don't see them so often, but, as much kind of like what you said about Joe. You don't see them so often, but, it's still kind of like brothers. But at the same time, we wanted to write a contract up, and just because, hey, we all sat down and we all had differing ideas. Some people wanted to just do it for fun. Some people wanted to do it long term, one of which was me. So I proposed the idea to set up a contract, and I did this with with my other band, Imperia, as well. And we all just wrote out what we would like to have happen with the songs, who wrote what, and we all made terms we agreed upon so that none of this happened. Now, eventually, these 2 guys ended up not feeling like they wanted to play music anymore. So, which is totally up to them, and that's their right. And they left the band. So we went on a hiatus. But coming back, there was no issue in filling their spots with other great musicians and making another cohesive unit, because we had already taken care of it. So we didn't even have to wait or go through any kind of legal headache to go into the studio, use the name, the shape, and go in and write and record things, because we had already set that up years ago.
Right. And
it
this
saves so much time and money and effort and just back and forth.
Again, you did it while you guys were all happy. You know what I mean? Like, and again, not that anybody left on bad terms. It's just, who knows who knows what's gonna fucking happen, man? You know.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, you could be the greatest guy ever, but what happens if you pass away and the person who then owns your rights as that band member is a fucking asshole and doesn't want to follow your wishes or doesn't know what your wishes are?
Well, sure. I mean, look, we saw this, you know, and I'm not saying that any of this happened with Ron Cusack, but Ron Cusack passed away suddenly from Bonded Through Hate. I mean, it was kind of one day he was here and the next day he wasn't. And, you know, granted, the band kind of collectively agreed and said this is what's going to happen. But what if one of those guys was not such a good dude? You know, what if one of those guys was like, "Fuck it, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn these songs into country tunes." You know,
it's similar to like I don't know how many people watch wrestling, but I mean Owen Hart is a very familiar wrestler to a lot of people. Sure. But he passed away. You know, unfortunately, had an accident happen in the ring, and his wife controls if he's allowed to be in their Hall of Fame, and she doesn't want him to be because of her personal feelings.
Right. Right, absolutely right.
And that's bullshit because he's like one of the greatest of all time.
Sure. And I mean, the same thing can be said for recently announced Mr. Randy Savage last night was recently announced that he's...
I marked that for that hardcore, dude.
You know, and truth be told, you know, if you go back, the reason he hadn't been in for so long is because the Poffo family, mostly Lanny Poffo, was saying, no, that's not going to go... If you're going to induct him, you got to induct us all, and because he controls what's going on, well, that's exactly what went down. And I don't know, you know, behind the scenes exactly, but I thank Triple H because I know Hunter had some sort of something to do with that going down. He's been handing olive branches to many wrestlers, including the Ultimate Warrior, including all these others.
Olive branches can be very green,
and so it's very cool that. We saw Warrior get inducted, and now we're gonna see Randy Savage be inducted, and we could talk about wrestling all night. I'm a huge mark.
Me too.
But we won't. We should take a music break. It's like 10 till already, and so we should take a quick music break because Dave from Marwood's Fall is going to be calling in, and we're gonna talk to him about some of this stuff too. Some other quick things that you could think about, because we touched on this contract thing. One of the other quick...
We have a few things we can go back to after this call later.
Sure. Yeah. One of the other quick things, if you're going to do all these other things, setting up a bank account strictly for the band is probably a really good idea. Again, this way you know what's coming in and what's going out. It's not in one person's pocket and mixed with their personal funds, and you all can kind of see at the end of the day how much money is in there, and we're going to talk more about it. I don't want to gloss over these things because I think it's an important topic. I really do. Because I don't know that there are so many independent bands, especially that.
Every single thing we have lined up here is something we definitely can go a little in depth on later. We shouldn't gloss over. This is all important stuff, and I have a few things I can add to this as well.
I'm sure you do, and that's why I figured this would be a really great conversation to have because I kind of gathered that you would have approached it this way. All right, so let's take a quick music break. We're gonna play a couple tunes, play some Tear Gas Union, brand new, and then we're gonna come back and Dave from Marwood's Fall should be on the air with us. So I'm gonna run and have a quick smoke so that I can do that, and we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Figure I don't know, about 8 minutes or so. Which puts us right at the top of the hour, 9 o'clock. The show goes by so goddamn quickly. 180 minutes is just not enough.
It's not.
We'll be right back. Here's some brand new. I just got this fucking disc. Brand new Tear Gas Union. The name of the album is Scream in Vain. The name of this song is Scream in Vain.
Yes.
Don't go anywhere. It's Official Fucking New Radio, Indie 180 with Brian and myself right here on Official Fucking New Radio. We'll be right back, bitches.
When you
All right. Sorry to interrupt that music there. Tear Gas Union, that's unholy. Only played a little bit of that. The phone was ringing, but is now not ringing. Now it's ringing.
There we go.
All right, let's pick this up here. This is going to be David Marwood's Falls. That's why I interrupted the music. So I apologize to Tear Gas Union. But we'll get back to it. We will play it again. I mean, we did play David.
Yes, sir.
You are hanging out. It's official fucking new radio. We are here. We are live. My name is Knob, and you have Brian also on the line.
What's up, David?
Not much, guys. How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. I'm always happy to find new and awesome bands to play and spin and talk to. And whenever I get new submissions, I like to hit up the bands like right away and say, hey, listen, we do this show every Tuesday night. We do it live. We record it. We try to get some information, find out about new bands from all over the globe, and I really like what you guys are doing, and we're gonna of course play some Marwood's Fall in just a little bit. But welcome to Official F and Radio, and we're gonna have a good night tonight here. We've been talking about some crazy shit this first hour.
Like what? You guys got to fill me in. I unfortunately was just kind of got in, so I missed some of it.
No worries. I mean, we were really discussing, setting up your band as a business, and some of the things that you can do to take those steps, such as setting up an LLC and things like that. I mean, nothing nuts, nothing crazy. That's like later in the show, but just different weird things, and we're gonna talk with you a little bit about some of these things as well. But
sure.
The first thing we got to talk about, of course, is Marwood's Fall, the band itself. How long have you guys been a band? How long has Marwood Fall been together?
So that's kind of a funny question. We had a bit of a rocky start. My brother Matt is our guitarist. I'm the vocalist. I'd say the main composer, but obviously everybody adds their flavor. And then John is our drummer, and Ben is our bassist. And recently we had Erin, the guitarist, but she has since moved on to other pastures, amicably, but she's no longer in the group. So this current lineup started in early 2013, but our roots kind of went back to 2009. There was me, my brother Matt, and John, the drummer, started with a fourth, and actually got all the way through this first recording, pretty much to the T. And he had a studio, and we were working with him, and sort of his contribution to the band was recording us, because we were doing more of the creative stuff. And it took a long time to get the recording done, and then there was some lack of progress on the editing and side of things, and so we ended up having falling out with him, unfortunately. I'm actually still good friends with him, but we just don't work together professionally anymore. And so we actually had to start over in 2011, a new recording studio, recording the same songs, because we felt really strongly that we had some good songs, and we didn't want to hit the stage without being able to present something to take home to those who would be hearing us. And, we thought that was the right decision. In retrospect, I don't know, because it took us so long to get to the stage. So we started recording again in 2011, and it wasn't until it was fall of 2011. And it wasn't until the spring of 2013 that we played our first show.
Wow. So it's been a process, been a long time in the making.
Yeah, what people often goes overlooked is just how much work goes into just getting 4 or 5 people to agree on something. I mean, it's incredible when you have that many different egos and just different points of view, all of which can be legitimate. It's difficult to get everybody on the same page. And so when you have something where everyone is on the same page, it's so special.
Oh yeah, and that's actually one of the things that we were discussing about, setting up your band as a business, and we were right before the music break here, and before you called, we were kind of talking about, doing some of the preliminary work of, at least having the discussion and even maybe taking it a step further of having written contracts of like what happens if, what happens if somebody leaves? What happens if we decide to do this? What happens, this, that, and the other thing. And to get everyone to agree is, like I was saying earlier, it's kind of like a marriage. You're married to these other individuals who all have a different mindset and different opinion about each part of this, you know. So it's we totally feel where you're coming from.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I mean, it is definitely a relationship. It's ideally a business, but it's also, you know, at best, it's a small business of 5 people, and that is that's an interpersonal relationship. And you're right. I mean, you can have 2 completely different but equally valid opinions, but just that alone can completely destroy a band.
Sure, or grind things down.
Really sad to see.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, you know, it is. It's hard, you know, to all, you know, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's difficult, and at the end of the day, we're all just kind of people, and everybody kind of comes from different walks of life and different mentalities and different ways of thinking, and you know, maybe different goals set. You know, like some people may come in and say, you know, we really want to go as far as possible, while others may say, well, you know, I just kind of want to do this for kicks and giggles and just play and not really, you know, go any farther than that. Some, you know, I've seen bands where some members want to tour and others don't, and that always seems to cause headache, you know, because then it's a disagreement of, well, you know, we want to play outside of our state. Yeah, well, I don't. And now, you know, now they either leave the band or you just don't play out of state, you know. And so,
right.
You know,
I think aspirations become probably the primary sticking point. You know, you can have creative disagreements and come to some sort of resolution, but you know, if half the band wants to tour and you know, wants that to be their job, and the other half of the band, you know, they're okay with just kind of playing on some nights and weekends, you know, that's kind of an untenable situation, and you know, and where it really comes down to it is you can even talk about having the same aspirations, but the question is, you know, when does the rubber meet the road? Are you willing to put your time and your money and your effort where your mouth is, and make it happen? And that's even harder. You know, you can get 5 people to be like, yeah, we want to be rock stars, man, let's do it. But when you're like, okay, let's point, like you were saying about, you know, sitting down and drawing up some sort of agreement, you know, are you willing to pay money to sit down and talk to a lawyer? Are you willing to pay the money to form an LLC? You know, are you willing to pay the money to go into a studio when you're not making any money as a band? And that sort of stuff is really important. And that was why, for me, it's been important to play with really driven musicians, and I'm thankful that I found that.
Oh, absolutely. Now, one of the things, you know, I did a little research on not only your band, but the name of the band. And I came across, and maybe I'm wrong, but I only assume that Marwood's Fall, that's about that guy who created the Hangman's Noose, the Long Fall, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of a funny story, but the long and short of it is you dug up our name, and that pleases me, because, you know, when you're forming a hard rock band, you want to have a name that's interesting and impactful, but you don't want to, I don't know, I've grown tired of some of these bands having everything be about like skeletons and just crazy, everything's black and everything has to be the exact same tone, and it might have been okay when, you know, the first generation, but it's gotten to the point where I see a band, the way they dress or what their name looks like in a logo, and I already know what they sound like. And we wanted to be a little bit more obscure. And so we took a theme from one of our songs that kind of ended up being a little bit of our, I don't want to say flagship song, but it ended up being the title track of our EP. And we kind of played around with that, and credit to our drummer. He ended up doing a little bit of research on the subject and came up with William Marwood. And we just liked kind of everything about the name. It's a little bit of a play on words, and at the same time, it's you know, just an allusion to, it's kind of has a double meaning, and it's also an allusion to one of our songs.
Sure, and for those maybe who are tuning in who don't know, William Marwood's British government dude. He was a hangman, and actually developed the technique of hanging known as the long drop, and built these structures that would force someone to not just hang, but to actually, you know, when you see the trap door open and the gallows and all that, that's William Marwood.
That's where the neck snap came from, right?
That's exactly right.
Which,
what's that?
Yeah,
That's where like the neck snap part of it, when you drop down, like when you see in flicks, like they drop the door down when they had go for somebody to hang, and then it like can snap your neck like immediately for a lot of people.
Right.
Right. So the reason why they did that was because suffocation was a little bit. They considered that to be a little bit less humane because you might suffer for a little while, whereas if you dropped from a further distance and you snapped the vertebrae, you were able to die immediately. And so we found that to be interesting because William Marwood, on one hand, was an executioner, and which is kind of dark, and at the same time, he developed a way whereby hardened criminals were not suffering in their last moments, but actually ended their lives a little bit more humanely. And so Marwood's fall is both an allusion to the actual hanging, the long drop, the actual act of hanging, but also almost in a very Adam and Eve sense of like the fall of man, like Marwood's fall, was coming up with this moral quandary of it, was coming up with a long drop, a good thing or a bad thing,
right?
So that was how we came up with the name, and I'm actually really impressed that you guys did the due diligence to figuring out where that came from.
Well, it was one of those things. I was like, I was doing a quick little Google search to see if there was any other information besides like your Facebook, because obviously, there's only so much stuff you can put on Facebook. And and I came across it, and I was like, man, that's got to be. I mean, that makes so much sense. That's got to be where it came from. And it's cool that you guys thought of that. And it is kind of a play on words, and the idea of it being more than just the hanging, but the fall of man. And what a job, right? Could you imagine like being William Marwood and like, we've been hanging people, and I don't think that's the most humane way of going about hanging people. So I'm gonna invent this new way of hanging. Like, could you imagine? Like, that's gotta be wild, man. I don't know.
Yeah, you come into work on Monday and you say, you know what I was thinking about.
So over the weekend, I had this thought. I think we might be cruel and unusual. I came up with this really cool idea. Check this out.
I was experimenting at home with the kids.
Could you imagine being the first guy to take the Marwood's fall, like the actual long, like, God damn it, like I'd be cursing the guy, like, you motherfucker, like, I don't know, because if you're gonna be hanged, I guess quick and easy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be happy regardless. I'm pretty sure you'd be losing it on the platform either way.
Quick and easy is probably better than long and painful, though.
Yeah, that tends to be the consensus.
So, but very cool. All right, so let's talk about a little bit about Marwood's Fall as far as being treated as a business. I mean, are you an LLC? Have you taken that step? I mean, I know that's an expense, but
I was originally very into that idea. Set yourself up as a business, be ready, for when the money sort of comes in, that you're not, handling it poorly, and that you're handling your taxes properly. And I'm I tend to be a little bit of an analytical person, so I wanted to be. But I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine who's a lawyer, and he was kind of like, you know what, until you make X number of dollars, that's really not going to be very important. And so I got about halfway there. We have a federal tax ID.
There you go. All right.
And we're listed in that as forming as an LLC, but we haven't actually gone to registering, which turned out to be fine because, based on just the band expenses to get it up and running and get a recording going, I mean, we're not making anywhere close to the money that we would be required to declare in taxes. So
sure.
The moment that happens, certainly we'll be trying to make everything above board and official. But, as of right now, most of the expenses are sort of coming out of my pocket.
Sure. Well, I mean, one thing that Brian had mentioned earlier, and I didn't really think of it until he said it, and then it made a ton of sense. I mean, I have a law degree. I'm not a lawyer, but I do have a law degree, and so I too am very analytical. But Brian made the really good point. If you set it up as an LLC and you have these expenses, let's say you go out and buy new gear, that's a tax write-off as a business.
Right.
So it's like there are so many different benefits, and yet again you got to kind of take it step by step, and I think you're right on the money as far as, listen, we're not really there just yet, but it is still something to really consider as far as, from the tax point of view. You could probably catch a couple breaks as far as, money you spent on recording, money you spend on touring, money you spend on this and that. A lot of people don't realize how much money.
Dude, recording, even your phone is a write-off, like I mentioned, for conversations that you have with anybody business related. Lunches having to do with stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you can write off your freaking gear, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this long
Yeah,
distance phone call that you're talking with us right now would be a business expense.
Yeah, you can talk with our stupid asses off, man.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And I think that a lot of people are so into the music side of things that they lose sight of that, and then they'll make a little bit of money, and then they'll be wondering, how they owe so much in taxes. And it's because, as much as it's not very much fun, you do have to track those things. I track how many miles I'm driving to band practice. I'm tracking, I use Evernote to take pictures of receipts for, sending our EP to guys like you, or sending our T-shirts to fans, or, whatever, so that when, right now I'm not turning a profit, so I'm not declaring, but, when it comes time to declare taxes, I've got, 4 years backlog of expenses that can actually count towards, reducing our tax bill.
Sure. And so, you got the federal tax idea. What about the band name? Have you guys gone ahead and gotten that trademarked, or do you have a logo that you have trademarked? I know there's a few bands here.
It's a fairly specific band name, and it's a great one. You should if you haven't yet.
Yes, I agree.
That's that's a good point. Someone had mentioned that probably not a week ago, oddly enough. I guess I hadn't thought about it recently. We have some of our music copyrighted and whatnot, but I hadn't actually trademarked the band name. Is this live? Maybe I should be trademarking it online right now.
It is live, and I've already gone ahead and trademarked it. It's mine, and you can't use it.
That's okay. I guess we'll just call ourselves Knob then.
Oh, you bastard! No,
you just pulled a Michael Jackson to a Paul McCartney.
I did. Well, hey, wait. That Paul McCartney is a new and upcoming artist, so I don't have to worry about him.
I forgot about that guy.
But yeah, it's a good point. It's something that I should probably get on.
Just something to think. Look, and you're not alone. I don't. We're not picking on you or anything like that. It just happens to be that's what we're discussing tonight. And
sure.
We kind of cater to the whole idea behind Indie 180 and OFNR in general is, I'm really just a music fan with way too much fucking time on my hands. And that's why OFNR exists. But at the end of the day, I cater to independent bands globally, on a global scale since 2006. And so, my thought process was if we can maybe provide some information to local bands or independent bands that aren't maybe considering some of these things, then maybe they might and they might not. Some bands are just out to have fun and just play on the weekends and they have their day jobs and that's all they're going to do. Others, however, are considering at least the idea of taking this thing called music to a degree of, professionalism.
As far as they can.
As far as they can. And God knows, we talked about that last week is, how far is that? There's no answer. It's really as far as you're willing to pony up that dough and for however long you're willing to pony up that dough. And of course,
how crazy you are too.
How crazy you are and how much talent, at the end of the day, even in independent bands, you got to have some sort of talent and fan base, and people got to kind of respect what you're doing and like, and enjoy it. But something to think about down the road. You did say that you had copyrighted some songs. Now, you registered those songs through the U.S. Copyright Office, or?
Yeah. I have recordings of everything initially, the demo ideas on my computer anyway. But I actually have the copyright through the Copyright Office.
That's awesome.
Not sure if that was necessary, but when you're starting out, this being my first legitimate band, I wanted to do everything to the nth degree perfect, and I had this odd, childish fear that perhaps someone would hear those songs and try to take them because they thought they were going to be really good. In retrospect, I wish like more people responded to it in such a way that that was at all like a legitimate concern. Instead,
Well,
the exact opposite.
you know what?
So many people don't care.
Yeah, but you
that,
you never know,
it's
man.
probably not necessary.
I mean, you truly never know.
Yeah.
Especially with the way that technology is now. I mean, just like with Facebook and social media and being online. I mean, you never know. Somebody might turn around and say, "Man, I really like that riff. I'm gonna snag it," and maybe they won't, and maybe it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But I think you did the right thing. I mean, if this truly is something that you're passionate about and you want to pursue as in a professional manner, that's the only way to go. I mean, and there's so many bands. I could, even here in Connecticut. I mean, there's so many bands that probably haven't done that step. And I don't know, if I was gonna get into that sort of thing, I'd be scared out of my mind that I put so much hard work into recording a song and somebody turns around and takes it and makes it a hit, and then I'm screwed because I didn't take that 2 seconds to and sure, again, it's an expense, but it's probably worth it in the end, even if you're not a fucking multi-billionaire or whatever making huge hits. I mean, it's still a concern. I mean, it's still art. You're still making art,
right? It's true. Though it is a little bit funny because it shows a little bit of the ego where the biggest concern is wanting to have the copyright because you think that if someone else took it, maybe their version of it would blow up and they'd make millions without you, and never once occurring to you that maybe you'll put this out here and you'll have 300 downloads and that'll be it, and that's kind of been our situation where I certainly didn't expect a record deal off of an EP, but I was worried about the copyright thing, and then you put it out there and your friends and family like it, but then as far as trying to get strangers to understand what you're doing and take the music seriously, it's a lot more difficult than originally expected. And so you're looking back and thinking, I was worried about someone stealing this. Now I kind of want someone to steal this just so the music gets out. Kind of funny when the ego gets involved.
Yeah, again, I still think it's a pretty good idea. I mean, I know it doesn't seem like it, but I mean, like let's just think about it like this. On Facebook, as an example, you have 796 fans. That's almost 800 fans, and one of those people could be a dick. I mean, one of those people could be an asshole.
Actually, they all are because they're friends with us. But.
Yeah, but I mean, you just of those 800, I would it'd probably be safe to say that there's some that you don't know personally. And, we all know just from being on Facebook, as a general, like personally, people are assholes, and I'm not saying, everybody, but there are a lot of fucking assholes out there. And God knows, I mean, I think it was the smart idea, but,
okay, well, that's good to know. It's good to hear an outside perspective.
And what the fuck do I know? I mean, I'm not anybody important either. I'm not Howard Stern, but, from my perspective, I think it's the right idea. So
and it's not lost on me how much advice from guys like you might matter. I mean, we're one band, and we might think the exact right way to do it is something, and I might have read a few blogs. But as having your radio show, you talk to indie bands all the time, and you guys probably start to get a sense of a lot of the mistakes that people are making, and I mean, you can learn something from anyone.
Sure.
And so, I appreciate the feedback, certainly. Yeah,
well, and I mean, I'm the radio guy, but I mean, Brian is he's got his own label, and he's in a band, and does all these things too. So this is the whole point behind the Indie 180 idea is to kind of have these sort of discussions, and it's not a right or wrong sort of thing. It's just kind of throwing it out into the ether and discussing it. And again, you're not alone in some of the things that we're discussing here as far as trademarking and LLCing and all these other things. There's so many aspects, and I think you hit it right on the head earlier when you said, a lot of bands really just kind of focus on the music part of things and don't even consider the business side of things. And I'm not saying every band needs to. I mean, we kind of hit that earlier. Some bands just want to play and just want to have fun, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just if you're gonna go farther, or if you want to go farther, there are steps that you should take, and I think that's definitely a good one. Now we talked about copyright. Now what about performance rights? I mean, have you signed up with ASCAP or CSAC or BMI or any of those?
Yeah. Again, just from kind of reading some blogs and trying to see, just cover all the bases initially. Like, in addition to the copyright, I signed up with BMI prior to playing out. So yeah, we're with them.
Very good. And so that means when I spin your track in a little while, you'll get the couple cents that I paid, because we pay our royalties and have been since 2006. It's not a whole hell of a lot of money that we have to pay, but and I mean, shit, we could look at Spotify and see the artists that are, suffering dearly from, millions of spins, and yet they get a check for 6 cents. It's kind of
right. It's
kind of pathetic, really, at the end of the day.
Well, you guys will have to give me some ideas on what I can spend the 2 cents on.
I'm sure we can come up. You can't even buy bubble gum anymore with a couple cents. So.
Well, you guys will just have to help me get a few more interviews and plays, and then I'll save up to buy that bubble gum.
That's what OFNR is all about, man. Try to help out independent bands like yourself, get people to check it out at the very least, and hopefully love it and play it and find new bands. I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's what I do. I'm an active participant in the music scene.
Right.
And I don't know. We talked about this last week. You kind of have to be an active participant nowadays to really discover great bands, because they're not on the radio. They're not on, regular FM radio. That's just not the way the industry works anymore. It's just not.
Yeah.
I mean, last year was the first year ever that we only had one album come out that was platinum, and it was Taylor fucking Swift. So I mean, that says a lot.
Wow.
That says a lot. I mean, that's it's kind of depressing. Since 1976, that was 2014 is the first year ever that an album, only one album besides the Frozen soundtrack, went platinum.
Right. Well, I guess we'll have to build a snowman, huh?
Yeah. I think you should just let it go, honestly.
Yeah. The industry is wildly different now, and I kind of go back and forth on how I feel about it, but what it really comes down to it is it's the situation that this is the environment in which our band is evolving, and we just have to go with it. And honestly, I mean, sure, it would be nice to have a radio hit and make a bunch of money off of that, but what would be a lot nicer is having a bunch of people streaming the album for free, but doing it and liking it and sharing it, and to the point where we could travel all over the U.S. and maybe all over the world playing for people who like our music. And honestly, if I could do that and make $40,000 a year, I'd never change.
Yeah, and God damn it, I wish you luck on that, because Jesus, it's so difficult. I mean, it's so very. There's so many. It's almost too many. I mean, there's so much music out there. It's kind of hard to rise to the top, and especially, you guys are relatively a new band, only been out for a year and a half, 2 years. It's so very difficult. And I guess that kind of leads me to the next question. What is the scene like in Illinois? I mean, we're from Connecticut, we're from the East Coast, so we don't,
yeah.
I don't get out to Chicago ever. What's the music scene like there?
It's a little odd. I think I'm just starting to get a pulse on it, but admittedly, I haven't done a great job of trying to be an active participant. And what I mean by that is we try not to play every weekend, because we are promoting online to our Facebook followers, and many of them are friends. We do have a number of people that we don't know, but still, I'd say the lion's share are people that at least have some contact with us. And so that kind of gets tiring for them if you're asking them to come out to 2 shows a month, and you start seeing your numbers drop. And so we're kind of trying to play, every month and a half to 2 months in the city, and we're starting to turn our
our eyes to some other cities so we can kind of bounce back and forth between, one of the other cities in the Midwest and Chicago. But overall, I mean, we have only played probably 15, 16 shows in Chicago, and we've started running into some of the same bands, but I don't really have great handle on what the quote-unquote scene is right now, and I don't know if that's just because I haven't spent enough time just trying to find local bands, or if it's that there isn't really a scene in this genre. I mean, I have gone through into the depths of Reverb Nation just to find other local bands that are, interesting and kind of worth making friendships with and genre-wise worth trying to play shows with. But that wasn't as fruitful as I was hoping. And it's not really meant to be a knock on local bands, but it's not easy to find a group of musicians who really put a lot into their music. And so there might be some good bands who just didn't bother to make a nice recording, and maybe they sound great live, but it's not, in my estimation, thriving. But then again, I'm trying this year. My goal this year is to be a more active participant, start showing up to shows for bands that seem interesting, and just trying to make personal contact with them versus just sending them an email. And hopefully I'll actually discover that there's something a little bit more thriving. But in the 6 or 8 venues that we've been frequenting, it doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, and let me say, I mean, that honestly, to me, if I were to, and I've been doing this since 2006, and obviously, I've made a ton of local connections and beyond, but for me, there is nothing better than true networking, one-on-one, going to shows of band, like even if your band's not playing, going to those shows and making one-on-one connections and talking with other bands and like, hey, I really liked what you guys are doing. Where have you been playing and such and such and such. Your network becomes so much stronger, and you just never know. I mean, I've got friends in Jersey that now play in Connecticut pretty regularly because of the connections that we've made, and vice versa. They'll trade shows and bring Connecticut bands to Jersey because, again, they've made these friendships and network connections just through going to shows and being an active participant. So I cannot say how very vital. I mean, that's what made OFNR even remotely, and we're not a huge success, but here in Connecticut, I can go to just about any venue and somebody's going to know who we are, in the sense that, you know what I mean? Like in the sense that, oh, hey, it's Knob from OFNR. Hey, what's up, dude? Like, only because I've been an active participant for so many years, like going to shows, and like any time and I've got 2 kids and I got a job. And so going to shows is not as easy as it once was, but as many as I can go, I go. And because of that, I build these friendships and these relationships and be able to kind of see the growth of not only the band that I went to see, but discovering new bands and going, wow, these guys are so, good, or vice versa. Maybe I'll find a band that I'm, God damn it, these guys are fucking horrible. I don't see that too often, but every now and again, of course, you're going to run into some of these that are like, wow, you guys just aren't, even remotely doing the right stuff, as far as whatever. I think, of course, being in a rock band, much like being in a metal band, and maybe, Brian, I don't know if you'll agree with me, but it's hard, man. It's, because there's no real support minus, little places like OFNR.
It's hard, but it's worth it, man, because it's all dependent on how you push in, how much you get out there. Like you're saying, if you're going out to shows and you're making personal connections with people, and even more so with bands and people that might be a little more towards what your band does within metal or hard rock. It can be done, and it can be good. You take the bad, but the more successful you're going to be, whether that's exposing your stuff online or if that's just getting out there as much as possible. Doing both is definitely what you want to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just think it's one of those things. It's, for me, and I've said this to just about anybody who will listen. If you have the opportunity to participate and be within the community that you're trying to get people to come out to your shows, and this is just from personal experience, the less amount of shows that I get to go to, the less of an opportunity, let's say, if I put on my own show, that anybody's going to give a fuck to come out to see my shit, because I didn't go to their stuff. So why, it's it's a true tit for tat, kind of a situation, and as much as it might not, seem like it, that really truly is the way it is. It's like, oh man, you came out to my thing. That's cool. When are you guys playing again? Oh, then I'm going to come out. I'm going to bring a couple of my friends. And then you build, and that's how you build a scene if there isn't one.
I think you're exactly right, and I've kind of come to that conclusion a little bit on my own. Trying to contact venues about playing shows, and then contacting venues in other cities, and it is pretty clear that, especially if you're in another city, if you're not going to guarantee a draw, they want to know, okay, who are you going to play with? And so we kind of spent some time, I don't want to say it was wasted time, because everything you do is a learning experience, but we spent some time really focused on just where we wanted to play and not who we wanted to play with. And even if we did the who we wanted to play with thing, it was an online search, or I kind of, again, analytical. I made a spreadsheet of like 50 bands, and I rated them on talent and fit for us, and started contacting some of them. But yeah, I haven't really extended the olive branch enough to where I'm showing up to their shows and trying to be supportive. And here and there, I'll share some of their updates on Facebook, so people that for bands that I really respect, people that are our fans might be interested in their stuff. But I really think you're right. I think that you're not going to have a scene if every band thinks that they're the best and that everyone else should come to their shows. But instead, if the last 10 bands that you played with all showed up at your show because you showed up at their shows, and brought their friends, I mean, you have the makings for a scene. And that's been, like I said, my goal for this year is to start, instead of just pinging some of these people on Facebook or Twitter or on email, is to show up to their show, say, hey, really enjoyed your set, love to play with you sometime. And I don't know if that'll work, but heck, I mean, no one's going to want to show up for a stranger.
Well, sure.
Dude, yeah, you have the right train of thought, man. That's kind of what we did around here, both in like rock and metal, because we kind of straddle the line. And it's good, and there's lots of good bands around here, just like I'm sure there's lots of good bands where you're at that, that kind of helps cultivate a scene back and adds back to it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I see this so often. I mean, if let's say you did have the last 10 bands that you played with, and each one of those bands had 4 members, just let's just say hypothetically, that's 40 people in a room.
Right.
And granted, maybe they're not all going to be there all at once, but if possible, that's 40 people. And while that's certainly not Coliseum, those 40 people, that's a draw for a venue. And that venue is now going to say, well, shit, we had 40 people. Now maybe those 40 people are going to bring their significant others. They're going to bring a friend. Hey, I'm going out to this show tonight. You should come with me. Now instead of 40, it's 80. Now instead of 80, it's 160. Now, you know what I mean? And that's just the way I see it. And that's how, again, I've been around doing the OFNR thing for a long enough time where, when we started, I wasn't in the scene at all. I never went to shows. I never did any of that stuff. And then one day I just started going and went to everything. I didn't have all the commitments that I have now. I went to every fucking show I possibly could. And because of that, people started seeing it, seeing me all the time. And like you were saying, you run into a lot of the same people, but those people now start to recognize, oh, hey, you're David from fucking Marwood's Fall. Dude, that's awesome that you're here. That's cool. Like, and maybe they'll give you a shout out from the stage. I mean, and again, maybe it's only 40 people, but those 40 people might not have heard of you or whatever. It's just truly that's, I really cannot stress the amount by which more bands should take the incentive, even if they elect one or two members of the band, because again, we all have day jobs, we all have responsibilities besides our bands and our radio stations or whatever. Even if you elected one or two guys to go out on a regular basis to shows, it makes such a huge difference that you start really cultivating strong relationships. And you never know, one of those bands are going out on the road to play 3 shows or 4 shows, and they need another band, and now because you've made that strong connection, maybe they think of you and say, hey, would you guys be down to do that? And it's like, shit, yeah.
Right.
And now you're playing.
Yeah, and beyond just that, I mean, obviously that's a very direct and tangible benefit. And not to just make everything seem utilitarian, because obviously it's cool to make friends, and so if you can make friends who are good musicians, I mean that's a good thing. But as far as like things that are actually useful to you as a band, not just being able to play shows with them or getting fans, but things as simple as like we're looking to go back into the studio, and it was kind of like starting from ground zero. Okay, where are we going to record? Gee, maybe we should. I shouldn't. 2 years into this thing, playing around Chicago, I probably shouldn't be Google searching where I'm going to record. I should probably be like, oh, that band recorded with so-and-so, and they got a really good product, and I think it was relatively affordable. I'll hit them up. But I failed to do that, and so at this point, I'm still a stranger to a lot of people, and I'm having to do a lot of the legwork on my own. And the more part of a community you become, the more knowledge you have about just random things like that can be very helpful. Not to mention, there are some bands that are doing pretty well, and so the more you're around them, the more you see, okay, here's what they're doing that's working, and you don't want to necessarily copy them, but if you're not doing something, if you weren't on Facebook and they're on Facebook and that's where they're getting some, a lot of fans, well then you start there. I mean, you don't want to be missing something just because you're sitting, just because I'm sitting in my bedroom writing songs and not going out and supporting anybody else.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, 100%. All right, so let's move forward a little bit here and talk about. I mean, obviously, you guys are still new or newer. In the 2 years that you've been doing this, best show ever, worst show ever.
Okay, so our best show, it's kind of a toss up, but I'm going to lean towards. We got to open for Local H.
Nice.
I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but definitely a relatively well-known band, Chicago staple for sure. And so they packed the house, and we got to go on right before them. And I don't know if we actually put on our best performance or if it just felt like it because there were that many people there. But really just felt like an awesome 45 minutes, and probably something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. That was an amazing experience. The worst show, let's see. We haven't had any shows that I would consider to be an absolute failure, because I mean, if you're on stage with 4 or 5 of your best friends, what more can you ask for? But I would say that we had one, at the end of the year in 2013, where it was like nobody showed up, and nobody showed up from any band. It was a night that there was snow, and I want to say it was a Thursday night, not close to Christmas time, and it was just bad. And so when we were up there, and you're trying to rock out, you're on this tiny stage, and the room could fit 200 people, and other than the bands, I mean, the bands have probably combined to bring in like 15 people,
right?
And so those are those aren't as much fun, but I'd be lying if I told you I still didn't enjoy myself.
Well, sure.
Then one other thing would be our second show ever. As a vocalist, you're still learning how to sing live, because it's a completely different feeling than singing, in rehearsal or singing acoustically. And our last song, I hit a note that's pretty high for me, to B flat, and I had an epic voice crack. An epic voice crack. It was described afterwards by some of our attendees as an epic rock howl. But it was definitely a voice crack. And I probably won't ever live that one down with the band.
Sure, and it was one of those things you can carry with you. Now, speaking of singing and the band, I mean, we should definitely play a quick track here. I've got 4. I've got the Carry Me, Nocturne of Love, and Restitution. Which one of the 4 would you like me to spin real quick? And we'll talk some more, of course. We're not done just yet, but which one of those tracks would you like me to spin? This way some people can hear Marwood's Fall and get an idea of what you guys are all about.
Sure. I'm not sure which one might be the most accessible for your crowd, but I would say since we were talking about the whole name of Marwood's Fall, we could play Restitution because it was after I wrote that song that we came up with the name.
All right, very cool. So hang on the line here, and we'll be back in just a second. We're going to play some Marwood's Fall for those of you listening, tuning in, whether it's live now or via our YouTube link. Check out some Marwood's Fall. We're going to be right back in just a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere. It's official fucking new radio. We'll be right back.
One last look before they pull the hood over your head and cross your heart before the devil knows that you're dead. Did you really think that you had the wild? Too hard to deceive with that smile. And the end all traitors hang taut from the gallows there to rot. So fold your hands and pray for death as the floor falls away. I'll be there watching you sway.
you go. Some fucking Marwood's Fall with Restitution. Brian, what'd you think of that?
I thought that was a fucking killer, like, modern rock, like jam right there,
Right,
dude.
right. That's what I'm fucking screaming, dude. It totally sounds something off like, you know, modern rockish, maybe
Modern rock too, man.
like Crossfade or you know, something like that. Like really right up there, man. I could hear that on the radio, no problem. I mean,
Kind of reminded me a little bit of a band around here called Fade on Canvas. If you heard of those guys, those guys are pretty rad.
Heard of them, but have yet to see them. I got to check them out for sure.
Yeah, that tune had a killer hook too, man. Good shit.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Obviously, you know, we like the music that we write, but it makes you feel extra special when someone else does too, you know?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, when I first heard the tracks that you guys sent me, you know, it's right up my kind of alley. I mean, you know, I like metal just fine, but you know, you can't have that all the fucking time. You can't have 100,000 beats a minute all the fucking time. It just doesn't, you know, I gotta have variety in my life, man. And it just, that's the kind of stuff that I would listen to, you know, when I'm not wanting to, you know, drive really, 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 really fast and like really angry and pissed off. But yet it's still hard enough that it's not like somebody's going to get in my car and like, dude, what the fuck are you listening to? You know, it's totally,
Right.
it's totally got that hard rock, modern sound. It's tight, you know. What goes into the process of writing tunes for you guys?
You know, it kind of differs from song to song, but the way that it works for the most part is usually I'll come up with a verse and a chorus that I like. I'm kind of hard on myself, and so I'll have a number of different iterations of stuff before I really feel like the guys are ready to hear it. And I'll kind of come up with something I really like, and then I'll bring it in. And, you know, even then there are times, not often, but there are times when they're like, yeah, I don't know, take it or leave it. But usually not. Usually they like it if I've screened it. And I'll bring it in, and they'll jam on it. And so if I'm like, you know, I might be the major creative influence, but I don't think I'm the most musically talented because it might take me, you know, I'll be working on ideas, you know, thankfully I have a lot of them, but ideas for months, sometimes years. I mean, I'll listen back to old garage band recordings of a hook 2 years ago that finally made it into a song in the right context. But man, I'll bring a verse and a chorus to rehearsal, and the song will practically get flushed out at rehearsal. My brother is a really incredible guitarist and can basically put a riff to anything. Not Taylor Swift not excluded. He can just, you know, throw something down, and usually it's brilliant on first blush. And then you know, our drummer John is, you know, more than just helping us organize the songs and you know, keep time. He's got a really good insight to say, hey, that chorus would actually sound really good as the start of the song. What if we did that? Or why don't you try singing that verse an octave lower? And so it becomes this really collaborative process where certainly the seed starts with me, and I think, you know, like you, I think a good melody is important. But yeah, it becomes a really collaborative process, and then we kind of polish it over coming weeks. But things still kind of change. You know, anything that's not been recorded is not set in stone, and so we'll play around with how we start songs. We'll play around with instrumental breaks. We'll play around with a lot of stuff, and we'll still continue to do that even after things get recorded. Some of these EP songs sound a little bit different in concert because you know, we decided that last song sounded kind of cool to start with, almost a more dirgy feel to it, a little bit less aggressive, and it waits until the end of the first chorus to kick in. So yeah, it differs song to song, but usually starts with that, you know.
Yeah, man. Is it difficult to have a family member in the band? I mean, you guys ever fight? I mean, you're brothers.
You know, it's funny because we might bicker a little bit, and so when we do, the other members look at each other and be like, oh, brothers. But in all honesty, I mean, we get along really incredibly well, and our musical influences and styles really complement one another. And at least I think so. You might have to ask him in private. But, you know, we tend to work really well together, and, you know, we don't tend to have any major disagreements. So Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it helps having been close growing up, and prior to the band never having really any issues. Because I think if we were strong personalities and very different, it might be a problem. But no, I couldn't really imagine actually playing without him. I mean, Marwood's Fall wouldn't be Marwood's Fall without these guys. So, if for some reason I wasn't able to play with them anymore, I don't even know if I could, keep the band name. We would have to do something completely different.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I can see, I can understand that. No, I mean, you guys are really, really good. I mean, I dig it a lot. I could totally see you guys being played on regular FM commercial radio. There's really no reason that you couldn't. I mean, it's, good songs, good material. If silly kind of a question here, if Brian and I were to give you an MP3 player and you could have it for a month, and the band could fill it up with anything they want, anything that you guys are currently listening to, and you can't delete anything and you have to give it back to us, what kind of guilty pleasures might we find on there that you don't want anybody to know that you're listening to, but you'll let us know here on OFNR?
Guilty pleasures. Let's see. I'd say the only guilty pleasure that I've purchased recently was Ed Sheeran, and so you might find some Ed Sheeran on there.
So guilty listening to Ed Sheeran, man. That dude's got a voice of an angel.
Don't with my love, that heart is so cool. Yeah.
That song you wrote for the Lord of the Rings flick, or the Hobbit or whatever. That song is badass.
Oh yeah, the IT Fire song. Yeah,
that song's awesome.
Yeah, he's incredibly talented, and so yeah, it's not hard rock, but I can appreciate talent in any genre, and he's definitely one of them. Let's see, what other guilty pleasure? I don't own her stuff, but I have done a number of Spotify plays of Lord, and so you might find some of that on the MP3.
That's actually Stan Marsh. You know that, right?
What's that?
I don't know if you watch South Park, but that's actually Stan Marsh. His dad is Lord.
Oh. I'm not caught up. I watched them, but I'm certainly not caught
you
up.
should definitely check out that
hysterical.
episode. It's so fun. I mean, it's just so funny, dude.
They're pretty brilliant.
They're ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, no. I mean, look, I listen to all kinds of crazy shit. You go through my library, and it's like, while I have a hard rock and metal station, that's not all. I listen to all kinds of crazy stuff. So, it kind of is what it is. You know what I mean? Music is subjective. It's I don't really give a shit if you like it or not. I'm going to listen to it. But there are those bands that I wouldn't mind if they fell off the face of the earth. It'd be okay. I'd be all right with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to have someone like something that you don't like. It's another thing to have that constantly shoved in your face. But
yeah, and there's so much of that. I mean, look, that's one of the issues that the music industry kind of faces, and one of the maybe the reasons that we didn't see platinum records or it's gotten so stale, and the industry fell asleep on digital, and they didn't have to necessarily, but they love to just shove garbage down our, and I mean, fuck, man, if you listen to a classic rock station, they have not changed their playlist since they started their station.
Right, right. That's actually a really good point. I was telling this to my wife the other day, how it bothers me that the word alternative now sort of, at least, I mean, in the stations that I've heard, actually means, instead of it just being an alternative to pop radio, it just actually means the songs that were played during, the 90s and early 2000s. I mean, I'll turn on the local alternative station, and they'll be playing, something Dave Grohl, and I'm like, the Foo Fighters have put out like 5 albums since this song came out,
right?
And it's okay if you play them, but I mean, play something newer, and they'll play. They have to make sure that they play Nirvana, and okay, that's fine, that's great. I mean, but there are bands out there doing interesting things, and the fact that I have to actually go digging through, crowdsourcing on Facebook or going through, suggestions on Pandora or Spotify, what have you, and that these radio stations who actually get paid to play this music are so out of touch that, like, they're just going to throw on another Foo Fighters remix instead of, finding, I've never heard them play Breaking Benjamin. How many bands are out there are just doing really cool things that you have to seek out yourself.
Well, yeah, and it's or if they do play Breaking Benjamin, it's that one track, and it's like they do this for all kinds of bands. I mean, even if you go classic rock, like Kashmir from Led Zeppelin. I don't know how many fucking times I've heard goddamn Kashmir, but it's like that's a band that has a fucking discography of music, and do we really need to hear that particular track? And I'm just picking I'm not a huge Led Zeppelin fan, but I'm just picking them as an example. I mean, do we really need the same, do we really need to hear that one track again? Or do we really need to hear fucking Money from Pink Floyd again? Like, these bands all have fucking volumes of music, and you're telling me the only track you can play is fucking Money or Another Brick in the Wall? Like, they have other hits even that are, you know what I mean? It's just it's disturbing. It's truly disturbing.
Yeah, it is. The question I have, though, is, is chicken or the egg? I mean, is it that the listenership is, have we been conditioned to just expect to hear the same couple things over and over again? And I mean, is that why, even some bad music becomes popular because the radio station will just spin that track enough that it will become part of the social consciousness? Or, is it that, so is that something that the fans actually, request? They just want to hear Stairway to Heaven again and they don't really care about the other stuff? Or is it the just unimaginative radio stations that, I don't know, like, they have to be making money. They have to have some fans. So how is it possible?
What a wonderful question. I mean, we could spend hours talking about just that, because I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I think it may be a little bit of both. But I do think, this is me at least, and maybe because I'm doing what I'm doing with OFNR, and there is no music director, there is no boss, I'm it. And we play, like right now, this month, we're doing all independent, all month long, that's it. So it's new music all fucking month, because when I'm tuned into my own station, it's like, I want to hear something different. I don't want to hear the same old shit. But I do feel that stations are dying because they're refusing to branch out, and the way that people consume music is changed so much so that the Spotifys and that's why the Spotifys and the Pandoras are doing so fucking well, is because you're not like, even satellite radio. I mean, every fucking car now comes with XM satellite radio. You know what I mean? And even those stations, sometimes, I'll turn on Octane or something, and it's like, God damn it, again with this fucking song, really? Like, you guys are set
right. I mean, it's good music, but it's just like, okay, well, I have that album, and I've heard, you could at least play another track for this album.
Yeah, like, so it's weird, because I don't know the answer to that, but I would think, at least now, the times are a-changing, if they have not already changed, and I think a lot of people are moving away from, I have a strong feeling that FM kind of is going the way of AM, in the sense that I'd never, I mean, if I'm in my car, never do I have my FM radio on. I either have a CD in, my iPod plugged in, or I'm listening to XM. It's just, that's just me. I mean, like, first of all, I can't stand regular radio. It's so painful to listen to. It's it's 107.4. We're gonna play the next 7 tracks without a commercial interruption, and the next 7 tracks are gonna be the same 7 tracks we played an hour ago. And if you look at our playlist, it repeats. It's like, and a lot of those guys are voice tracked. Like, they're not even there. They like went in on the weekend and voice tracked their shit so that they, So it's like, man, I don't know. It's so strange. And here in Connecticut, at least, like the big hard rock station went out, and turned into a Christian rock station. Now they're doing an internet-based thing, but it's like, if I'm going to listen to internet-based station, I'm going to listen to my own radio station.
Right,
You know,
right.
and I can't get
Yeah.
that in my car, you know, unless I have my phone constantly going. And, you know, it's just crazy, man. I don't have an answer.
Yeah.
Brian, any thoughts?
Not really.
Well, I have a quick question. So, do you think part of it is that, and part of the reason why we've lost such interest in it is that because music is so easily accessible, that the moment you hear a song you like on the actual radio, you have the ability to acquire that song. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, you know, the new Green Day song would come on, and I would freaking, this is going to date me a little bit, but I'd run in the room and I would press record on that
absolutely.
tape
Sure,
that I
man.
had of favorites.
Absolutely.
And I had to make sure that I caught the Blink-182 song, you know?
Yeah.
And if I didn't, I got pissed. And so I would listen to the radio, and even if I had that tape, it still wasn't perfect. And so I had to keep listening for that song until I could eventually, you know, buy the album. And now it's like, if something new comes out, the day that I've heard that it's out, I already have it on my phone, or I've already at least streamed it. And so I don't need them to continue playing that track, because from the moment they introduced that track, I had it.
Yeah, and you're totally, I mean, you're totally right, and you're not dating yourself at all. I'm right there with you. I don't know how many times you'd be mad at the fucking DJ even for talking over the fucking intro, because it's like,
Yeah, you're like, this is the best part, you dick.
you motherfucker, you just ruined my fucking mix, you bitch. It's just so fuck, man. God damn it. Like, I just wanted the fucking intro to that song, because every time I've heard it, I've always had the goddamn DJ doing the little talk up or whatever, pre-sell of the fucking song. I just want the goddamn intro, you know. And then when you finally do buy the tape, I know. You know, then you're like, finally, I have the fucking song in its entirety.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, look, you know, people, even record stores, man, it's such a, you know, it's really hard to find like a real record store, or even FYE is like, you know, kind of like on the way out, and to go in, like, it's just not that way. People they don't consume music that way anymore. You know, I remember, you know, and I've said this, I don't know how many goddamn times on the air. My first job was a record store. That's where I worked, with tapes and CDs. And Tuesday used to be an important day. It was new release day. And people would fucking go out on new release day and be like, yo, what came out today? Like, I got to check that new release, like, end cap and check it out. It makes, you know I would, like, even working there, just like, fuck, what's coming out tomorrow? Like, oh shit, this is coming out tomorrow. I'm buying this, I'm buying that. And it's not like that anymore, you know, and
Right.
It's sort of sad, you know. I kind of feel for my children who are very young. It's like they won't have that experience of going out and buying a record, and God, does that date me, going out and buying a record and opening the record and reading the liner notes, or maybe it came with a poster, or you know, the artwork, and the whole experience is lost on this generation, because as soon as I hear that track, I go and buy that track. I may not check out any other songs from that artist. I mean, I would, but a regular user may just say, well, I really love that track, and that's all I'm going to have. I'm going to have that track. And I had read a report last year, early last year. Most people actually listen to like 30 seconds of a song, and I've already flipped the song to the next thing. It's crazy. Like, to me, it's so, like, I just don't have that mentality, you know. Like, music is an experience. It's such an important, vital thing. And for me, you know, in my life, and we kind of discussed this a little bit last week, Brian, even where does music matter as much as it once did? And I don't know. Yeah. I don't know that it does. I mean, here we are. 2014 was the first year that only had one platinum record. So in a way, we can kind of say, no, it doesn't matter as much as it once did.
I
know. You and I will disagree on this, Brian.
What was Brian going to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say that's skewed. I mean, you have a lot of people, downloading stuff for free, or just downloading in general versus CD sales. But people are coming out to shows. There's a lot more shows. There's a lot more bands. There's a lot more stuff going on with live music. So I don't think music doesn't matter. I think it matters just as much, if not more, and it always will, because it's emotional and it's something that can help people and help them get through rough days, and it's something that always will do that.
Yeah, but in the same breath though, like you got to think for me, like there was a point where we used to say music is the soundtrack of our lives, and certain songs would elicit memories. Even still to this day, man, I can put on a certain record and be immediately transported back to the first time I ever listened to Scenes from a Memory by Dream Theater. I could fucking go back in time and like I remember when that album came out. I remember playing it for the first time. I remember like all the emotions. Man, like, do we have bands now, especially like just not including being an active participant and actually finding new music and being a part of it, but are there really bands out there that are 10 years from now we're going to be talking about? I don't know. I don't know.
That have come out. Can you kind of rephrase that? Bands in 10 years from now that we'll be talking about from when? Like
from now, from this point forward. Let's say, I mean, has a band come out last year? Did any band come out in the last fucking 5 years that's not an independent band that you don't know personally that has elicited a response from you that goes, holy shit, this is amazing?
Gojira, Mastodon.
Yeah, but those are bands that have been around a while. I'm talking about brand new music.
I can tell you, at least brand new for me, Nothing More. Have you heard their album?
No, I never even heard of them.
Okay, so when we hang up, you need to look up the band Nothing More, play their first part of the album. There's like a lead-in track called Ocean Floor, and then it goes into their single, which is called This Is the Time. And a friend of mine, or I'm sorry, not a friend of mine, my drummer, actually sent me a link to one of their acoustic performances in a radio station. I think it was for Sirius. And just the acoustic performance blew me away, and I was like, whoa, okay. And so I bought their album, and it was on play for I don't know how many consecutive times in my car, and I just bought the band and one of my friends all tickets to go see him at the House of Blues coming up here with Periphery in a couple months, and not even a couple months, probably a month. And yeah, I mean, I think it was their second album, but it just they've been taking hard rock by storm, and yes, I think that if I would bet on it, I'll be talking about them in 10 years. And just a quick note on the conversation from earlier. Just I think to some extent that you're right now. I think the more disposable income and the easier it is for us to just access music tracks, especially a single track, music has become more of a commodity. And so I think that there is some cheapening of that. You might have tracks on your computer from some band that you really don't know much about, and you like that one song, and you don't know any of the names of their members. You don't idolize them. You don't have their poster, and kids won't, like we might have back in our generation. That said, I do think that part of the apparent problem is just the diversification. I think that there are bands that are under the radar that would have never made it a generation ago because they weren't the stuff of mainstream radio, and they weren't going to get the big record deal, and they weren't going to have millions of people buying their records, but they still make a healthy living at it, and they do have their dedicated band of followers that will buy every single thing they put out. Band that comes to mind for me for that is Brand New. I'm a big band, Brand New fan, and anytime they come to town, I see them, I buy anything that they put out. I wear their merch, everything, and I'll until they stop making music, I'll follow them, and I don't know the last time they had a single spin on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, and just for me, I mean, it's changed so much for me because I'm so involved in the indie scene. there are so many, and I mean just countless indie bands, independent bands, like DIY bands that are, that are making it, like, quote unquote making it, that I would immediately, if they came out with a new record, I'd have it. Like, I'd go and buy it. I'd go either to them personally, or I'd go on their Bandcamp or whatever and buy it, because they're so like Wings of Apollo from Tennessee. Those guys, they're putting out a new record. I can't wait. I talked to Jesse and those guys not very long ago. I cannot wait for that record. Like, I'm just so amped because they're just such a talented fucking band. Fear Nuttin' Band from Mass. Anything they put out, it doesn't matter what it is, dude. It could be them farting on snare drums. I'd buy it. And I just don't care. Dude, they're just so fucking phenomenal. It's just like amazing, amazing, amazing. Like, holy shit. And so while, yes, they're, it's not nearly the same, it's, again, you kind of have to be an active participant in this, in music, in consumerism of music, to really find those gems, those hidden little bands that maybe nobody has ever fucking heard of, but are just phenomenal musicians, phenomenal bands. Like, I would fucking pick up those albums any day of the week, twice on Sunday, you know what I mean? Like, and or even like Cyperna here in Connecticut. Those guys, that album was in my car for fucking 6 months, man. And I wouldn't put anything else in my car because the album is so fucking good. I'm just so like addicted. And even some of my friends are like, dude, really, come on, like, talk about somebody else. Like, there's somebody other good band. It's like, yeah, but I'm so fucking into this, man. It's so great and so solid, and it's just fucking powerful and cool and good. And so, I don't know. We could have this discussion all night long, and I don't know that we'd really get anywhere, because it's so subjective, and it really just comes down to, there's no question, and I don't think any one of us here tonight would say that that it hasn't changed. It's changed. Whether maybe saying it doesn't matter as much is kind of a harsh thing to say, and it's not true. But it's changed. It's certainly changed, and I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, that's true.
So at any rate, it's 10:17 here at the OFNR studio. We've been on the phone for a while. David, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. It's been a pleasure, man. I've had a hell of a time talking with you. And I think we could have a whole nother night just talking about not only Marwood's Falls, but about the industry, about music, about what's happening, what's going on. Everyone should check out Marwood's Falls, Marwood's Fall on Facebook, on all the other places. I'm sure you guys are on Reverb and Bandcamp and all those other fun places too.
Yeah, we're well. First of all, thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun. I love talking about this stuff. Gosh, I would love to spend another hour just talking about bands that I should know that I don't, and bands that maybe you guys should know that I know about. But
right.
As far as our stuff, we distribute through TuneCore, so it's on the streaming sites, it's on iTunes and Amazon. But honestly, anyone listening, we're just glad to have listened to the music and share it. So, you don't feel embarrassed to go to SoundCloud. You can go to our website, marwoodsfall.com. It has a lot of links to the other places where our music is and whatnot. And, keep tabs on us. We got some new YouTube content coming pretty soon. And like I said, 2015, we should be back in the studio.
Yeah, any upcoming shows that people may be able to check you guys out at? Anything that you got planned? Or
we have one. I haven't announced it yet. We're on Bands in Town. If people want to follow us, we'll eventually make our way east. But for now, we're just sticking in the Midwest. We have one. Actually, it's a metal show with friends of ours, Psychopathic Days, and a couple other local metal bands. And that'll be actually out in the Chicago suburbs on March 13th, I believe. But follow us in Bands in Town, or we also have an email list that you can sign up on the website, and we send directly show updates there as well.
Righteous. I was actually going to ask you if you guys had your own .com, because a lot of bands don't. They just use Facebook. That too is a sign of the times. You don't have to spend any money or know how to code a website. You could just get on there and do your thing. But that's cool that you guys have your own .com. I think it's pretty vital to have a one-stop shop, one-stop place that you could get all the information from and all the links and stuff. So that's really cool.
Right. I don't really trust Mark Zuckerberg to design our website.
Before you go, I do need you to give me a little artist idea, a little breaker, so that we could play it before your tunes. Basically, you tell me your name, tell me that you're from Marwood's Fall, and tell these fine folks that they're listening to official fucking new radio. That would be fantastic.
All right. You ready?
Yes.
All right. This is Dave from Marwood's Fall, and you are listening to Official FN Radio.
Beautiful. Absolutely excellent. Dude, I will I'll email you the link to YouTube once I have it up. It'll be a few days. Keep in touch with us, man. Give us a holler anytime. You're more than welcome back on the air anytime. It's been an absolute pleasure tonight.
Will do. It's been a pleasure on my end as well. It was really nice to chat with you guys, and certainly any updates that we have, I'll send them your way, and hope to hear from you guys soon.
Yeah, thanks so much, David.
All right, have a good night.
You too. All right, man.
That man was an excellent interview. And
what a great time. That was awesome, dude. That seriously was phenomenal. That was got to be one of the best interviews we've had in a really long time.
Excellent track too, man. They got.
Oh yeah, and I'm actually gonna play a couple others here. We got to take a quick music break because I need a cigarette real bad.
I got pissed, motherfucker.
I got pissed. It's 10:21, man. We went over. We could have gone the rest of the night. We could have went right up to 11 o'clock.
Hey, man, that was almost like a bar conversation, man.
It was crazy.
Years, dude.
And it really is. It's so cool to find bands like this. Outside of Connecticut, outside of our state. That kind of stuff is why I fucking love doing what I do here at OFNR.
Absolutely, man.
We still got the news to get through. We might go a little over tonight. I don't,
we got some shit. We got the news. We got the minute.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got the Monolithic Minute, man. Thank you for reminding me. When we come back, we will do the Monolithic Minute so we can get that in for sure.
We still got a few things left from the business talk.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, man. And maybe we'll carry some of that over to next week or something because Opus will be on and we can talk to him a little bit about some of these things.
Yep.
But dude, what a great interview. What a great guy, David from Marwood's Fall. Everybody go check them out. If you're not sure if you should or should not check them out, I'm going to play 2 more tracks from them. We're going to take a quick little music break. Anything you want to hear besides the Marwood's Fall? Because obviously I got to play that. I know you said you wanted to hear some of that. You recommended me a track from The Shape, Mask of the Red Death. I can't download it. Bastard. You bastard.
I set them all to download just for you.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you bastard. All right, well, next week you're going to bring me some. But
you hyped me up on the Cyperna record.
Dude, that shit is so fucking good, man. And if you don't like it, well...
You, sir, can go fuck yourself.
Then you can go fuck yourself. Because
I was listening to that earlier in my car on the Metal Alliance compilation, dude. I love that fucking track.
Dude, that whole album is fucking awesome. It's beastie, man. It's so good, dude. I'll play some Cyperna, but you know what? I'm not going to play anything from the record. I'm going to play a live track that only OFNR has. Ha!
Ooh, up in the ante.
Yeah, buddy. I'm going to play Don't Get Blood in My Crop Circle live from Cherry Street Station, actually.
Awesome.
So, don't go anywhere. It's Official Fucking New Radio. We'll be back in about, 10, 15 minutes or so. Maybe 10 minutes or so. Give or take. And you guys will keep it locked, of course, to Official Fucking New Radio. Indie 180, I hope you're having a good time. Keith from Chasm says that was an awesome interview all the way around. A fucking fantastic interview. So thank you, Keith from Chasm, for tuning in.
What's up, buddy?
They are doing a one-off show. We're going to tell you a little bit more about that. And breaking news on that. I don't know if I should give you the breaking news now or wait until we get back. You got to pee.
Let's hook them. Let's let them fucking stew and wait.
All right, you can stew and wait. Here's some Marwood's Fall from Illinois. We just got off the phone with David. You are not going to go anywhere. We've got the news coming up. We've got the Monolithic Minute coming up. So much more to get to. Holy shit. This night is just, damn.
That's an awesome show, man.
Yeah, fuck. We'll be back in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere.
Someone wake me from this dream. I fall asleep so
Blood in my crop circle. That's the song we should do. I'm way too drunk to do this right now. We seem to have technical difficulties here. Someone is fucking my drummer up.
Sorry for the interruption, folks. But crap.
Sucks.
Cum dumpsters.
Sucks.
Queef pile.
Man, are you kidding me?
Radio doesn't have to suck. Official FNradio.com.
Thank you for the applause. Thank you.
Seriously.
Official fucking new radio. That was live, Cyperno with Don't Get Blood on My Crop Circle, live from Cherry Street Station from 11/5/2011. You're not going to get that anywhere else. Only we have it. I love playing stuff like that. I've got a whole shit ton of stuff like that. I love playing those live tracks, man. You truly get an idea of, the insanity. You can check out Cyperno, of course, on the Toad's Place, Opus Palooza, Blizzard, Bash, Palooza. The Opus Blizzard Bash on the 30th of January with Cyperna, Apostasy, Lightsbane, fucking Alcoholica, Dead by Wednesday, Jasta, and a shit ton of others. My God, there's so many fucking bands. I can't even keep track of them anymore, man.
And plug, you can catch Opus right here next week on Indie 180.
True that, dude. And I guarantee it'll be another great conversation, much like we had this evening. Once again, thank you to David from Marwood's Fall. We just played two from Marwood's Fall, Carry Me and Nocturne in A minor. You can go check them out right now on Facebook, and you should. I'm going to make sure that I talk to my friend Turbo over Bull Spike. I'm going to talk to DJ Perlman from Revel 9 and Hard Rock Lunchbox and get these guys to start playing more Marwood's Fall, because god damn it, that's a good, solid fucking band. And dude, I got a shit-eating grin on my face, man. I'm having such a good time tonight.
Yeah, tonight has been a fucking awesome show, man.
It's been unbelievable, bro. I really cannot... I tell you, I've been doing this a long time, and it's nights like tonight that really, truly make me appreciative of OFNR, of Official Fucking New Radio, because I get to have those kinds of conversations. And thanks to everybody for tuning in. Of course, thanks to yourself for being a part of this insanity.
You.
All right, so obviously we still got the news to get to. We still got a bit of our conversation, but I really think maybe we'll hold on to some of that for next week, because Opus will be on it, and he can help shed some light on some of these topics too, because these are conversations we can have throughout our time here at Indie 180. It is Indie 180. It's 10:40 here at the OFNR studio, 1/13/2015. And it's time for the Monolithic Music Minute, brought to you by Brian from Monolithic Music. What is going on in the Monolithic Music world, sir?
Oh, in the world right now, we have a show coming up this Friday at Ray Kelly's in Bridgeport. It's more of a kind of a stripped-down thing. It's in the Black Rock section in Southern Connecticut. The awesome Mile Marker Zero, who will be on, I just confirmed that, on January 27th here live on OFNR.
Radical.
They'll be doing a full acoustic set, which is a rarity for them. They'll be playing an hour or a little over that, along with Andrew Pinto from Terra Luna, who's got a record out called Memoirs on Monolithic Music, and a killer hard rock band out of the Southern Connecticut area called Mystic Seahorse. We got that going on. We have a couple other dates coming up with Samsara on Friday the 30th, and also with Growlix and Voodoo and Salader on the 31st. As far as the Shape stuff goes, we're playing our next date with Lightsbane, Archaic Decapitator, Continuum, and Rise to Burn, I believe, and our buddies at Carnivore on February 21st at Cook's Cafe, which is going to be a pretty kick-ass show. And we're doing one with Mobile Death Camp, or a few with Mobile Death Camp, Goat Herder, Jimmy Jumper, and the Stiffs as well. So that's going to be a good time. February 28th at Jimmy Seaside Tavern. There we go. In Stamford, Connecticut. And also, we have tickets for Within the Ruins, Fit for an Autopsy, Immure, and Suicide Silence, who we're opening for at the Webster Theater. So if you want to come to that, get a hold of us via our Facebook page or hit me up, and we'll get you tickets to that.
Very nice. You got music going on in the background? You got somebody jamming out over there or what?
No, I am just hearing the sound of wind, and I have no idea where that's coming from.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like all this, because I'm inside. I don't know. Wind.
I have no idea, man.
That was pretty strange. All right. Anyhow, yeah, it's cleared up now. I don't know. That was weird.
I thought it was a fucking sound effect you put on.
No, I totally did, dude. It wasn't me. Swear to God. Creepy. In the background, you got some Odd Zero hanging out there musically, rocking out. Whew, man almighty, dude. What a fucking evening we've been having. All right. I guess we do the news now. Yes? Let's do the news. Should we do the news? Yeah, we should do the news. It is 10:42 here at OFNR. We probably will go over a couple minutes, so keep it locked. Stick around. You know, we're going to have some fun now. Not that we haven't had fun all night, dude. I've been having a blast. This has been really something else. I'll tell you what.
Easy breezy. It's been 2 hours and 45 minutes plus 20 minutes before that with you, and it's been flying by, man.
Dude, it's crazy, man. The last hour and a half flew by, man. It was like, shit, is it really an hour and a half's gone by already? My God, like, damn it. I need more. We need more time.
The first hour felt like 5 seconds.
I know. So much to talk about. All right, let's do this real quick. And something I wanted to mention too is next week when you come up here, we'll record a little piece of production for the Monolithic Music Minute as well, so that we have a nice little intro for that.
And I will make good on that promise to bring you our CD so you don't have to scrounge and download. I have no idea what the hell was going on with that thing. I was just trying to figure it out, but it is not set.
Hearing wind again. All right, so let's do the news here. Brought to you by Blow Paste each and every week. Knobs News Corner!
It is time. Oh yes, it is time right now for Knobs News Corner.
Yes, indeedy. Time for the news. We bring you the news each and every week, brought to you by Blow Paste. Check them out, cheekychacha.com. Get the taste of dick out of her mouth, out of your mouth, out of everyone's mouth with Blow Paste. Go and get yourself some of that. First off, the fucking weather, brought to you by thefuckingweather.com. Want to thank Brian Riley for turning me on to thefuckingweather.com many, many moons ago. It is currently 12 fucking degrees outside. It's fucking cold. Sock warmers are go everywhere. Hoth, day 54. It's fucking cold.
Yep.
Tomorrow is Wednesday. It's going to be 28 as a high and a low of 16, partly cloudy. Thursday, 31 degrees. It's going to be a fucking heat wave with a low of 21 motherfucking degrees, partly cloudy. Friday, 31 motherfucking degrees, a low of 11 motherfucking degrees, partly cloudy. That's, of course, here in Waterbury. If you want to know where the fucking weather is like in your motherfucking area, go to thefuckingweather.com. Put in your zip code, and it will give you the fucking weather. You can actually even get a random fucking location. Click the little button there, and it gives you a random location. So there you go. Alrighty then. Time for the news. Got a couple stories about beer. Unfortunately, Joe Stagger's not with us this evening due to personal reasons. Quick shout out to Mr. Joe Stagger. Love that dude. Hope everything.
Beer story is dedicated to Joe.
Hope everything is going well. It's from the Stagger Files, these beer stories. Got a couple. Two, in fact. The first is Bile Beer. In Mozambique, Africa. I think that's how it's said. Contaminated traditional beer has killed 56 people. That's gone up to 69 people. 69 people have died because of fucking bile beer. An additional 49 people admitted to hospitals in Chitama and Songo districts, northern Teet province of Africa. 146 people reported to hospitals to be examined for poisoning. Those who drank the contaminated beer were attending a funeral in the region on Saturday, and now they're having their own. Pombe, a traditional Mozambican beer made from millet or corn flour, and authorities believe that the drink was poisoned with crocodile bile. Ugh.
That sounds awesome.
That's disgusting.
You know it's a branded beer waiting to happen now.
Oh, God, it's so gross. Now, listen, if you want more about any of the stories that we do here on the news, each and every week we put up a detailed program, basically our show prep, because we ain't got nothing to hide. I mean, you know, I don't give you, like, everything that we discuss verbatim, but the news stories give you all the highlights, and then I give you the read more, so you can actually read each and every one of these stories and actually see that we're not making this shit up. These are real stories from around the world.
Even more news that we actually prepared.
Yeah. It's proof that we actually prepared. Believe it or not, I do take this reasonably seriously. Reasonably. Anyhow. All right, so the second beer story is bunghole beer. In Blackpool, England, a British fraudster has admitted to selling counterfeit bottles of booze containing human urine and feces. Oh, God. Dude, I mean, it's one thing to be on Jenkum, which is basically, you know,
brewed beer, man, and I could just imagine like any kind of germs that might still be lingering in that. I can't imagine fucking.
You brew your own beer?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. My brother's into that kind of shit too, and I know Stagger, the guys in Stagger. Well, I mean, obviously, guys in Stagger are constantly micro brewing and doing their own brews and stuff. But yeah, urine and feces, and of course that's been dubbed a danger to public health. No kidding, really. Court heard Nicholas Stewart, 35, Blackpool, England, caught selling sealed bottles labeled as Smirnoff and Jack Daniels inside Curl Island slot machine complex, and yeah, apparently they had human urine and feces inside. That had to taste lovely. Oh, God, dude.
Well, that implies the person had to know what urine and feces taste like.
Oh, dude. Fuck. Does this taste like shit to you? Blackpool Council prosecutor Victoria Cartmel said security officers seized the bottles, sent two of them labeled as whiskey and vodka to a lab. So nobody had to taste them. They were sent to the lab and discovered human urine and feces inside. Why? It doesn't say. It doesn't go on to say. But that's fucking nasty, man. For what purpose do you have to piss and shit inside my beer? It's not right.
It's definitely going to make me look and think twice and get a little anxious when I go to the bar next time.
No doubt, right? Seriously. You want to do the next story there, or
I'll do the next one, but I got to do the last one too, man.
Yeah, that's you. That you can't. You helped us with that one, so you can do the next one.
When farts attack. New York, angered that a fellow pupil passed gas in her general direction, a New York City high school student allegedly clobbered the male victim in the head with a metal stool and repeatedly punched him in the face.
For a fart, dude. He fucking farted.
Fucking fart, man.
He farted and she fucking beat him with a chair. Jesus.
Joquasha Rosado, 17, underage, was arrested last week following the bloody attack at South Richmond High School in Staten Island, New York. She was subsequently named in a criminal complaint charging her with felony assault, weapons possession, and harassment. Rosado's attack on the 15-year-old victim left the boy with a bleeding gash that required 8 staples. Jesus Christ.
Damn, she beat the hell out of him.
That's like a Dean Ambrose injury off a ladder.
No doubt.
Reported Officer Jennifer Hadley. After hitting the victim with the metal stool, Rosado allegedly struck the pupil about the head approximately 10 to 15 times with a closed fist. Jesus Christ.
He farted. He farted. It happens. You know, look, I'm sure it was kind of an embarrassing moment. None of us like to fart in public.
I don't think it warrants a chair shot and 15 punches with a closed fist to the face.
Well,
head.
When you're Jaquasha. Oh, God, that's funny. Oh, shit. It's funny because, God damn it. What the fuck?
You can't make some of this shit up, man.
Man, I just... For a fart, dude. A fart. The kid farted. He's 15. He farted. You know? It happens.
And it's a kid.
It's a kid. I mean, he's 15.
That's what adolescent males do. We fart.
We fart and we laugh.
Yeah. And 15 years later, we still do that. So.
15? I'm talking looking at 20, 21 years of since 15.
You've got your gold medal.
I've got my gold medal of farting and laughing at my farts and Dutch ovening my wife. Oh wait, no, I've never done that. Yeah, God, we're disgusting fucking beings, us men. All right. The next story is Cook Killer. This one comes from India. Oh, yes, from India. Yes, that's right. I will do the whole story like this.
Do tell.
Yes, right. A shocked housewife was left with a 5-inch blade embedded in her shoulder. Okay, I can't do the whole story like that. A shocked housewife left with a 5-inch knife blade embedded in her shoulder after her husband flew into a violent rage and stabbed a bitch because she was teasing him about his cooking. Oh, yes, your cooking tastes like curry goat.
Listen, bitch, I do not fuck around. My cooking is the bomb.
My cooking is the shit. I will fucking stab you. Well, Ganpat Vaz 40 did just that. From the city of Surat, Western India, Gujarat state has been preparing a plate of fried veggies when he and his wife Suman, 38, began joking about his culinary abilities. You'll never be on Kitchen Nightmares. No. Yes. Maybe you will be on Kitchen Nightmares. Vaz suddenly flipped out after his wife made a passing remark about his manhood and a cucumber that she was chopping. He then grabbed the knife from the kitchen and plunged it into her shoulder before fleeing the house and leaving her in shock.
Well, he just set himself up not only with that move, but with his fucking name as like the next Indian James Bond villain.
I am Ganbat Vaz. I will stab you in the shoulder because you said my cucumber is small.
Mr. Bond, do not make fun of my cooking.
Do not, Mr. Bond, I will fuck you. I don't want you to die. I want you to die.
I will stab Moneypenny.
I will stab Moneypenny right in her gash.
That's the perfect lead-in for the next
right
one.
Right in the bloody gash. All right. This one comes from Brian. He found this on his news feed. Why it's on his news feed, God only fucking knows. But this is a true story, folks. It's really fucking happened. These are true stories.
From the fucking New York Post, too. So this is straight legit. Chop till he drops. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. A jealous wife in China dropped off her cheating husband's penis as he slept, then snuck it into his hospital room after he had sewn it back on, and then hacked it off again and tossed it out the fucking window.
She Lorena Bobbitt hit him twice, dude. She cut it off, they sewed it back on, and she cut it off again, bro.
That is just cruel. Fan Lung, a dad of 5, sealed his fate when he decided to use his wife's cell phone to send his secret lover a hot and heavy email, Central European News reports. The 32-year-old forgot to log out of his account after the message was sent, which is how his 21-year-old wife, Feng Lung, who is now under arrest for grievous bodily harm, came across the saucy exchange and snapped. The jilted wife went berserk, grabbed a pair of scissors, stormed into the bedroom, and cut off his penis while he was sleeping.
Whoa, now wait a minute, wait a fucking second.
He's fucking sleeping.
A pair of scissors, bro.
Oh, dude, yeah, man, that is a rude awakening, too.
Scissors! Dude, that's not something that, like, that's not a quick, like, lop off with a cutting knife. Like, dude, you gotta, like, snip. Like, snip. Like, like, you know, like, there's gotta be, like, that's not a one chop process there. That's a, you know, that's probably a 2-3 snip process there.
Jesus.
And anybody who's listening who's a guy is probably cringing right now.
I've
got a vagina right now. My penis has left the building.
Lung was rushed to the hospital where doctors were able to save his appendage and sew it back on. But Feng was able to sneak into the recovery room where she chopped his penis off a second time and threw it out the window. A shocked Lung chased his wife outside despite losing a lot of blood. Now that's a tough motherfucker. His dick's just been chopped off for the second time and he's still chasing his wife outside.
Well, dude, let me tell you. If my wife chopped my cock off, yeah, she better fucking run, dude.
Staff rushed out to see what was happening and found the patient with blood streaming down his legs, hitting the woman, a hospital spokesman said. He was stopped and the woman was taken in for treatment, and then we discovered she chopped his dick off again. Despite desperate search efforts, authorities were unable to find Lung's man.
Ah, poor bastard.
Police believe it may have been stumbled upon by a stray dog or a cat.
Oh, man.
This motherfucker is just so unlucky.
Could you imagine that cat comes home? Like, you know, because, like, when cats kill, like, mice, like, I have 2 cats, and when they kill a mice, they leave that mice, like, in precarious places so that we find the mice, like, as a gift. You know, like, here, I did my job, here's your
offering.
Here's your offering. Well, could you imagine, like, coming home and your cat's got, like, something in his mouth, and you're like, what do you got there? Oh, my God, it's somebody's cock.
Here's this Chinese dude's dick.
Whoa. Poor bastard, dude.
Lung's side woman, or Zhang Hong, yes, you heard that correctly, 21, said she's okay with her man not being able to have more children. It doesn't matter that he's lost his fertility, she says. He has 5 children already. Well, it's not about the fertility, but now they can't fuck.
Yeah, well, now, look, he can't get off. He's done. Yeah. Now he's got to probably wear, like, a colostomy bag and shit, too, I would think.
Yeah, I guess the lesson to be learned here, at least if you're maybe Asian or if your wife's just a flaming psychopath, is be a lot more discreet about the affairs you're having.
Well, you know,
I get chopped off with scissors and then chopped off again after it's sewed back on.
And then given to a dog or cat.
Yes, and delivered to a neighbor.
Yes. Look, I don't think it's an Asian thing, man. I think this is if you're going to fuck around,
crazy,
you gotta be way more. Do Snapchat, you know that shit deletes. You know, do something. I mean, get on fucking what's that? Ashley Madison or some shit.
Hide your goddamn email. Put some passwords up. Put some passwords on your phone.
Log the fuck out.
yeah, exactly.
Shit, man. Like if you're gonna be fucking around with some other chick or dude, you know, maybe you want to think about covering your shit. You know, covering your tracks, man, and. I mean, this poor motherfucker. Look, I feel a little bad for him because he had his dick chopped off twice. But in the same breath, he put himself in this predicament. You know what I mean? This is what you get when you just have to have a little bit of strange in your life.
Nothing warrants like scissors to a cock, man.
Dude, snip. Oh my God. And you like the dude's sleeping. Could you imagine waking up and your dick's being cut off with scissors?
She wouldn't be living.
Well, I guess she's pretty goddamn lucky that they caught her that second time, because it sounds like he was gonna fucking kill her.
Yep.
I mean, dude, he's bleeding from his once was cock, and yet he chased her outside, got onto her, and started beating her ass. And I mean, I think that's rightfully so. Like, you know, I'm not one for, I don't condone domestic violence in any way, shape, or form.
If that happened, then I don't get, if he was whipping her ass after that, I don't get how they lost track of his cock the second time.
Well, because she threw it out the window.
Wow.
She threw it out the window. Who knows how many stories up they were? Who knows? Maybe it fell onto the roof. Maybe it's in the fucking ductwork.
I don't know, man. If somebody threw my dick out a window, I'd have a fucking search party after that in like 30 seconds.
Right? Like, man, get the fucking...
Put that fucker on ice and get the sewing kit ready.
Like, wow, man. Like, oh my God. It's so, like, just fucking crazy. People are fucking nuts. That's what doing these sort of stories just leads me to believe that people are absolutely fucking insane. There you go. That's the news. Brought to you by Official FN Radio and Blow Paste. Get the taste of dick out of the cat's mouth.
I heard they were coming out with a cat line though. So.
Oh man. Well, yeah, I guess, dude. Holy Christ. What the fuck? Jesus Lord, help us. Well, it's 11 o'clock. Man, we didn't get much music in tonight. I feel bad. We had so much to talk about. We still have so much to talk about. Next week, we're going to get back into our conversation about treating your band as a business. We're going to talk with Opus, the dopest, who I guarantee you will have some great insight as to how to treat your band as a business and whether or not you should treat your band as a business. That guy knows a thing or two about having a band as a business. I mean, a decade of destruction, Dead by Wednesday. They'll be celebrating that on the 30th of January. So, yeah. Fucking A right, man. Jesus Christ. Man, I'm gonna have fucking nightmares about that shit, dude. Oh. Holy fuck. Jesus.
Next time I see scissors.
There's gonna come a point when you forget about what happened, and you're gonna want to come back at me, and you're gonna want to wash the taste of my dick out of your mouth.
My new soundbite, dude. That's from a video, actually. People should check that out. It's this fucking gangster dude and this nerdy dude are playing Street Fighter, and the gangster dude's talking mad shit. I mean, just mad fucking shit to this kid, you know. And I guess he like blasted him on Twitter and all this shit. They're face to face, and the kid just housed him in the fucking game. Just housed the shit out of him. That's his retort. It's fucking great.
There's gonna come a point when you forget about what happened, and you're gonna want to come back at me, and you're gonna want to wash the taste of my dick out of your mouth.
Motherfucker.
Oh, God, that's fucking outstanding. That's a new button here at OFNR. I'm going to use that button for sure. For fucking sure. All right, well, it is 11 o'clock. It is, sadly, we've come to the end of the show. Where the fuck did the night go, dude?
It went to awesome discussion and a fucking fun time, man.
It really has been an absolute fucking blast tonight. This is one of those nights, truly, where I'm so fucking thankful to all the people and fans and supporters of OFNR, of Official FN Radio, who have kept this thing going, who won't let it die, who no matter what, OFNR forever, man. Nights like tonight really just... They put a big old shit-eating grin on my face because not only were you exposed to a brand new band that you probably hadn't heard about before, and they're a fucking talented band, man. My God. Very good stuff. But we also had just a brilliant conversation tonight. It really was one of those moments where you, almost out-of-body experience, you know, where it's like, God, did we really have that conversation? Like, yes, we really did. It was really insightful, and it was really thought-provoking, and we could have probably gone another hour.
we touched on some good shit.
I think we did. I really think we touched on some great material, and if you missed any portion of it, the YouTube link will be up in the next few days. You can go to OFNRforever.com and get not only the YouTube embedded, but the entire show, everything we talked about tonight, all the news stories, all the different things, all in one convenient location, OFNRforever.com.
And also, man, for anybody listening that wants to add something to the conversation or thinks we missed something or an angle, feel free to freaking write it to us, and you know we'll respond to that shit.
Absolutely. Or you know what? You can call us 203-794-6367, 203-794-OFNR. You can hit us up on the chat room on OFNR Forever. There's so many different ways to hit us up via email, Facebook, Twitter, any which way possible. You know, join the group. Join the Indie 180 group right on Facebook, Indie 180. You can hit us up right there, too, and we do try to get to all those different places, though sometimes it is difficult when we're talking and doing all this stuff to jump back and forth between all these different venues of discussions. But yeah, if you think we missed anything, or if you want to add something, hit us on any one of those channels. And you never know. We may use your thoughts right here on OFNR. Something else to think about if you want to request music. You can actually do that right on our website. You can go through our entire library of shit. And it's quite a library. I mean, there's a lot of fucking music in there. Currently at, let's see. Currently at 16,707 tracks. Give or take.
It's a whole lot of motherfucking tracks.
And that isn't even everything, man. And we'll be adding more stuff next week. Brian will be here at the OFNR studio. Joe Stagger will hopefully be back. Another quick shout outs to Joe. And hope everything is all right, dude. And quick shout outs to my boys at Stagger. Go check them out.
We love you, Joe.
And they're doing two big shows. 2 big shows in March. They're doing Shore Metal Madness Fest 3. One in New Jersey, one in Connecticut. The Shape recently added to the Connecticut date. That show is going to be nuts, dude. It's going to be fucking insane. Both shows are going to be nuts. 2 quick things. I told you guys I had breaking news and I never got to it.
Yeah, what's the story, brother?
The first breaking news. OFNR will be broadcasting live from the Chasm Reunion Show. That's right. OFNR broadcasting live from the Chasm Reunion Show. Very excited about that. First time ever broadcasting live at the outer space. So totally stoked about that. The second piece of information.
You shall be there.
I have been named the MC for the evening for Shore Metal Madness 3 New Jersey. That's right. Knob from Official Fucking New Radio. That's me. I will be your official fucking MC for the evening all throughout the night, telling you about the bands, telling you about what's going on, and keeping things moving right along. So I want to thank Joe and the guys from Stagger for asking me to be a part of that in an official capacity as the official MC for the night. I was at the very first Shore Metal Madness Fest as the official MC, so I can't wait. It's going to be a great time. Continuum's going to be there. Cyperna's going to be there. Gates of Ivory going to be there. It's going to be a fucking great evening. And that's just the Connecticut bands. Then you got Darkness and Scars of Envy. And Darkness not on that this one. But Scars of Envy and Ominous. And God, it's going to be a fucking Paralysis. And there's so many great bands playing that night. Check out all that information on fucking Facebook. Check out the YouTube video that I made for the New Jersey date. There will be a video coming for the Connecticut date. I got to put together the audio and shit for that. Maybe this weekend. But since it's my birthday weekend, maybe not. Who knows? But that's about it. I think we have run out of time, unfortunately. 180 minutes has gone by. The clock is out of time. We're actually over. Not that anybody's knocking on my door telling me I have to stop, but the sad puppy dog music means it's time to go.
Gave you extra for your free money's worth.
That's right. Unfortunately, I have a day job, and I got to get up at the butt crack of dawn. I get up so fucking early, dude. It's still dark outside. It's ridiculous. Goddamn ridiculous. But thanks to everyone who tuned in. Thanks, Keith from Chasm, for tuning in, for letting us know that you really thoroughly enjoyed our interview tonight. It always makes me feel good to know that there's somebody out there listening, having a good time. If you missed it, check out the YouTube link. Check out OFNRforever.com. Check out The Shape. God damn it. Get the new album, Mask of the Red Death.
Thank you, brother.
Check out Stagger, of course. StaggerNewJerseyMetal.com, I think it is. I should know. I made the goddamn website, but I don't know it off the top of my head. But you can check them out, of course, on Facebook. And check out the Photoshop Wars. I think we may be returning this week. I'm not confident. It really all depends on Joe's situation. So, without that, any further ado, my name, of course, is Knob. And it's Official Fucking New Radio. Thank you so much, Indy 180. Brian, as always, a fucking pleasure, dude. I had an absolute blast tonight, man.
Yeah, this was fucking great. I'm loving it. Can't wait for more. Opus is going to be great next week. I'm psyched about that. Hopefully we get Joe back.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, hopefully we can get Joe back. The week after Opus, we've got Mile Marker Zero, which is dope. Very cool.
Such a fucking awesome band.
Thank
man.
you so much for hooking that up. I've been meaning to talk with them. I've seen them so many times and never had the opportunity to sit down and have a good conversation.
Got a great new EP. I'll bring that over from those guys next week.
Please do that. We've got Ian Carlucci from Shadow Lake Music coming up in February. We've got, who else is coming up in February? My God. I don't even have my show prep open anymore. We got a lot of stuff. It's all coming up. Of course, next week, Opus, the fucking dopest from Dead by Wednesday. He comes back to OFNR. He's been on many times, both in studio, on the phone, and this time he's going to be on the phone because I have a small little space and don't have the studio space I once had. But nonetheless, clearly we can bring awesome, kick-ass, independent music and news, 180 minutes of it, if not more, son. More than, or something. What to play? What to play to end the night? I don't know. I don't know.
Do you have any Mile Marker Zero?
You know, I might. Let's. Yeah, I do. It's real old stuff though.
You got the Haunted EP?
I've got. What is this? I've got the Mile Marker Zero.
Dude, that's a fucking awesome album.
It is. It's sick, dude. You want me to play some of that?
Yeah, play the first cut off it. That's a great tune.
Do you happen to know? I don't have the numbers.
A thousand nights.
1,000 nights. All right. We will end the evening with Mile Marker Zero and 1,000 Nights off the Mile Marker Zero album. That's how long ago I met those guys. I should get more of their music. So if you have any others besides the new EP, bring that shit too.
Yeah, I do. I got 2 of them.
Bring me a whole thumbstick of stuff if you can.
I will.
More new music. If you got new music, I got brand new music while we were doing our show, actually, from Riding in the Skies.
That's another killer band that's on a couple of mine and Eric's shows coming up, man.
So they're from Holyoke, Mass. And they just sent me some music, instrumental progressive metal band from Holyoke. I'll see if I can't lock them in for February. Maddening Process for February coming up, of course. And so much more. Always a good time. It's official fucking new radio, and it's time to go. Enough jibba jabba. Here's some Mile Marker Zero. Brian, I'll see you next week.
See you next week, brother.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. It's official fucking new radio, and we are out of here. All Independent Month rages on. So if you're looking for brand new music, tune into Official FN Radio tomorrow, 1 p.m. It's The Asylum, brought to you by Bullspike Radio, hosted by my dear friend Turbo from Bullspike Radio. A little bit of rock, a little bit of metal, whole lot of kick-assery. Turbo does a great job, and you should check out Bullspike Radio whenever you get a chance. On Thursday, modern rock mixed with metal. No, it's not, because it's all Independent Month. Fuck. But you should check out the Hard Rock Lunchbox, not brought to you by OFNR, but it's on New Retail Radio with Revel 9's own DJ Perlman. I listen every week because it's a goddamn good show, and you should too. So check all those places out, and thank you so much for tuning in. See you later, and see you next week. Same time, same channel, right here on Official Fucking New Radio. Indie 180, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. See you!